Well, good afternoon and welcome everyone. Being 1 p.m, we will commence today's council meeting here on the 20th of August. As I have received apologies from both Mayor Garwood and Deputy Mayor Mackenzie, who are both representing council at the Local Government Association of Tasmania conference in Hobart, that does leave us without a chairperson for the purposes of the Act. Therefore, under section 12.2 of the meeting regulations and meeting procedures, I am therefore required to ask those councillors present to nominate one of the councillors present to assume the position of chairperson for today's meeting. For everyone's benefit, we will ask for nominations. If there is more than one nomination, we will move to a ballot. The ballot process will work by a simple show of hands, and the councillor receiving the most votes under a simple majority will be declared the chairperson for today's meeting. With that, could I please ask for a nomination for the position of chairperson? Councillor Palmer.
Thank you very much, CEO. I'd like to nominate Councillor Lindy McMahon to chair today's meeting.
Councillor McMahon's been nominated. Do you accept Councillor McMahon? Councillor McMahon is accepted. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Pentridge, thank you. Is there any further nominations? There being none, we will declare elected chairperson Councillor Lindy McMahon for the purpose of today's council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I declare myself the chairperson for the purpose of today's meeting. Thank you. Welcome to everyone here and to those who may be with us online. Thank you. An audio-visual recording is being made of the meeting. All persons attending the meeting are to be respectful of and considerate towards other persons attending the meeting. Language and conduct at the meeting that could be perceived as offensive, defamatory or threatening to a person attending the meeting or listening to the recording is not acceptable. I'd like to acknowledge the Palawa people of Lutruwita, the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I pay my respects to the elders past and present and acknowledge the continuing connection of Tasmanian Aboriginal people to the land, waters, culture and community. Noting those in attendance and apologies from Councillor Mackenzie, Councillor Marsden and Mayor Garwood. Those who wish to speak at item 14.2, questions without notice, you may ask up to 3 questions. If accepted, your questions will be either answered at the meeting or taken on notice and answered at a later council meeting. If you wish to comment on an agenda item and have listed your name prior to debate on that agenda item, you will be invited to the microphone. Please note the following information. Each item on the agenda includes a recommendation prepared by a council officer. You may speak up to 2 minutes, either for or against the recommendation. You may not ask questions or enter into a debate with councillors or council officers. Your statement is not defamatory, inappropriate or abusive or intended to embarrass any person, including councillors and council officers. The Chair may direct you to stop speaking if you do not follow these rules or if your statement repeats points that have already been covered. Your respectful contribution is welcomed and appreciated. Thank you. Item 2, mayoral acknowledgements. We have none of those today. Item 3, declarations of interest. Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Acting Chair. 17.2, Innovation Partnership and Destination Partnership Grant.
Thank you. Any other declarations of interest? Thank you. Item 4, confirmation of minutes. Could I please have someone to move? Thank you. Councillor Harris. And Councillor Britton seconded. Thank you. Item 5, council workshops. Can I have somebody please? Oh, sorry, do we have to vote? Oh, all those in favour, sorry. All councillors present, thank you. Item 5, council workshops. Council workshop report moved by Councillor Walker, seconded by Councillor Harris. Would you like to speak to that at all, Councillor Walker? Councillor Harris? Thank you. All those in favour? All councillors present? Thank you. Item 6, councillors' leave of absence. We have none of those today. Item 7, community reports. We have none of those. Item 8, questions by members of the public. We have those printed and listed on the agenda. Item 8.2, questions without notice by members of the public. Oops.
Good afternoon, everyone, and you, Councillor.
Sorry, Rosalind, if we could just have your name and address, please.
Right. Rosalind Ives, West Launceston, 7250.
Thank you.
My questions today are all linked, but it's something that's profoundly of import. Today there will be a signing off on the quarterly report for April to June, the strategy and innovation. All things change and nothing remains the same. But there's an important element in our Launceston community's future that should be, without exception, always be in the foreground for planners and councillors. This is the built heritage that is so much part of everywhere we move and wish to enable community to utilise to the best advantage. Councillors and council staff do value this irreplaceable asset we have, but in the haste to develop Launceston into a vibrant and outward-looking city, so easily it can be lost. Examples abound of unplanned consequences of developments incongruous to the nature of the built heritage and lack of valuing it as the gold it is in our city coffers and broader community's richness, which sadly can be the despoiler of a whole precinct if not protected when so-called advances are made. Would Council always keep in mind, when signing off on all developments in all its future deliberations, the huge asset of the built heritage we have, protecting it visually while providing the tools to maintain and not overdevelop its very essence? There are people in our community with deep knowledge and skills for maintaining and restoring features of our built heritage, whether it be the colours recommended for painting, which match the heritage periods of the building time, or whether it be repairing roofs or maintaining the fences and the trees, also part of heritage value. How in practice are councillors and co-council planners placing protection of heritage, its maintenance and development surrounding it, to be in concert with the amenity and view, yet consistently in the strategies for all planning into the future? How best can heritage architecture be given a brighter light shone onto its, no matter where it is located in Launceston, and everyone gets to celebrate it? For far too long, I believe that we have taken a little bit for granted. There should be celebration for all of community and all of council for our heritage. We need to make that front and centre in the future, I hope.
Thank you, Rosalind, and thank you for your passion for our city. It's always wonderful to have you come along to our meetings. We will take your questions on notice so that we can answer those fully for you. Thank you so much.
Barry French, 83 Tasman Highway at Waverley. I went to speak on regard to the development next door, which has been approved by council. My comments are that on the 27th of March, on the day the DA was approved, my question was, one of my vital questions was, I hadn't had a response to my letter of July the year before. And in the write-up it was said, in the transcript it says that Mr French was supposed to have received that in the time being, 6 months afterwards. I still haven't got it. I've repeatedly asked for it. The legal team, one member keeps asking me questions over and over again, what do I want? I didn't know the name of the document at the time. It was called a certificate by your council staff. So I asked for that document, which council never, at the meeting, never commented about it. So I followed up, and it's a geotechnical report that I required. And I was, back in 2004, I had a similar development in the same area. I got it, finally, I didn't have that information, but the last few months I've got it from the archives. And the Mayor of the day has specifically mentioned 83 Tasman Highway has been a vulnerable area for landslip. And that is the reason I'm here today. That's been rejected by the current DA, and yet two of these other legal eagles of the council have quoted that they've read from it, and soil landslip has not been mentioned. Well, does it come good after, 20 years? Why isn't it mentioned? Or why can't I get that document to see what it says? Okay. They're telling me it doesn't say that, but give me the document.
Sure. So if I'm reading your comments correctly, you would like to get that feedback from council as soon as possible?
Yeah, well, it's too late now. The roadway's going beside my house. And, I've got photographs of the broken stormwater pipe, been broken for 6 months, and the water's just bulging down there, and part of the DA 22 in 004, it says that stormwater and sewage water should be controlled in the area to stabilise the area. Well, I've got photos here that I could show you. It's running freely, and after 6 months of me reporting the broken pipe, which the developers did too, and it still hasn't been, it's just been connected up a week ago.
Okay.
And so that's another question in relation to why wasn't it in the DA, and they're telling me to go to the developer to get it fixed. Well, it's council property, and they're telling me to go elsewhere to get it fixed.
Okay, thank you.
After giving me two, on the 30th of April, I would let council know if it hadn't been fixed, and again on the 30th of June if it hadn't been fixed. Well, it was just fixed last week. Okay. So that's another issue in relation to the, and further in relation to the landslip, the council in the earlier application submitted that a batter would be built along with trees planted. The legal team come back to me, they've monitored all the area and couldn't find anything for the trees. I've got a photo of here by accident, which I was taking a photo of something else, of the trees. This new development whipped out all the foundation virtually of protection for my property, among others. But mine, if they read the 2004 report, they'll see that I'm emphasised that my property is a problem. And yet, I've got a map here of the landslip area, which is right behind my pipe.
Okay, thank you. There's a lot to unpack in that, so yes, I think we will take that on notice.
And I have a...
thank you, Barry. Barry, if you could just let me speak, please. That is a lot of information for us to unpack, and if you do have photos, it would be a good idea if we pass those on to the officers so we can actually look at your folder of things. So we will do that for you. If you would like to leave those with us, then we will attend to those matters for you.
Well, I'll just leave it at the door.
Yep. If you just outside the door, one of the staff members will take that for you.
Thank you. Then see how I go.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Do we have any more speakers with questions without notice? Thank you. Oh, sorry, Robin. I didn't see you pop up there.
No, sorry, Chair. I also was running late and didn't register to speak to agenda item 21.2 on
bus interchange and social behaviour. If I could. My name is Robin Smith from Coffee Republic. Sometimes the mayor or chair of a meeting does adjust the agenda. I'd ask you not to do that on my account, please.
Sorry?
Sometimes the chair of a meeting does adjust the order of agendas when they know there's a speaker to an item, but of course I wouldn't expect that. It puts everything into chaos and we never know quite where it comes up. I have a question about the it's Metro Central, or it's now called the bus interchange project. Just wondered if there's a date that it's expected to be finished, that project, so when would it be opened, essentially, please? What's the anticipated?
I don't think there's a final date on that yet. It is still out for tender. We've still got people putting in tenders for that item, so there is not a date at this point in time.
Would it be fair to say not less than 3 years? Is that a fair?
I might hand that one over to the CEO.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Mr Smith, for your question. Unfortunately, we can't give you a date because there's too many unknown quantums. Obviously, we're still out for tenders for design process, and of course, should design be selected, there's a number of steps that are required here. Assuming we can select a design, or the council selects a design of the day, we then move forward to QS to actually cost it up and then actually move into a project. So I would think we've got at least 12 months of planning and QS to do before we even look at awarding a contract, if we even do, noting that that will be a decision of the newly elected council.
So 3 years would probably, it wouldn't be within 3 years then, is it? Safe to say. All right. I'll work on that basis. Thank you. I've spoken before, Chair, you will possibly recall, I talked about the security at the bus interchange that council provides. And I spoke about the displacement effect that essentially, because of the instructions to the security officers to move on youth and trouble without using the two words move on, we are still finding a problem with youth, and I asked if council would consider addressing that. Is there anything council has looked at to address that displacement phenomenon that happens because of the moving on from that site?
Not specifically. I know we have sent letters off to Minister Ellis, as you will see was in the agenda. It is an issue, and it's an issue that we're having everywhere in the state. And I guess we need to determine how much of it is the role of council and how much is the role of state, and where are we finding the money to do these things. So at this point in time, there is no extra work from council other than speaking regularly with TASPOL.
Very well then. You spoke of the letters from the Mayor to the Honourable Felix Ellis, the Minister for Police. When you wrote, it was about 3 or 4 months before you received a response. In the interim, the information that I asked for was about the number of incidents and the nature of them, etc., and the action that was taken about them. Council refused in a meeting previously not to provide those to me in the meeting. Was that information provided to the Minister at any time since you wrote your first letter? Was that passed on to show the, I don't know if there's any incidents or a lot of incidents, the nature of them, but was that passed on so that the Minister could get an idea?
Apparently, yes, we have.
You did. Thank you very much.
Any other questions without notice? Excellent. Thank you. So at item 9, petitions, we have none today. Item 10, deputations, we have none. Item 11, planning authority, none. Item 12, announcements by the Mayor, none. So item 13, councillors' reports. Councillor Kai.
Thank you. Councillor report. So on the 7th of August, Councillor Priest and I joined the Homeless Action Now 2026. This event in the Civic Square provided an excellent opportunity to engage with local services and organisations dedicated to supporting individuals experiencing homelessness, addressing essential needs, including housing, healthcare, legal assistance, financial stability, employment, family support and community integration. There was a great turnout with the swap a snack for a snag being very popular, and that was with thanks to Kirsten from Strike It Out, and also a big thank you to Verity from Women's Legal Services Tasmania for organising this compassionate and meaningful event in recognition of Homelessness Week. On the 10th of August, I attended the Rochalee Action Project meeting at the Shed in Rochalee. It was great to hear updates on a number of community-led initiatives, including planning for Christmas in Rochalee, the ongoing growth of So It Begins, the undergoing network training delivered by Fiona Miller of Jeddah. And what continues to impress me about these meetings is the passion and commitment of local residents, volunteers, and organisations who work together to strengthen community connection and create positive opportunities for people of all ages. On the 11th of August, Councillor Britton and I visited Self-Help Workplace, a remarkable organisation that has been supporting our community for more than 50 years and now employs around 50 people. We were given a fantastic tour by Alex Grooves, the organisation's new Deputy CEO, and we had the opportunity to meet some of the incredible team members, including Hamish, Bob and Sam. It was inspiring to see firsthand the diverse range of employment, training and business opportunities being created through Self-Help Workplace. From catering and meeting room hire to grounds maintenance, timber manufacturing, commercial services, document shredding and in-call clothing. Self-Help Workplace continues to make a significant contribution to both our local economy and our community. Thank you to Alex and the team for their warm welcome and for the important work they do every day. On the 12th of August, I had the opportunity to attend Zumba with Lisa at Albert Hall, the launch of Unwind, Launceston Central's 10-day wellness festival. It was wonderful to see people of all ages coming together to get active and have fun. Focus on their well-being. Events like these are a great reminder of the importance of staying connected, keeping active and making time for ourselves. And a big thank you goes to Gab and the team at the Launceston Central for putting together such a fantastic program. On Tuesday, Mayor Garwood, Councillor Harris and I had the privilege of attending the Vietnam Veteran Memorial Day commemoration service at the Launceston Cenotaph. It was a very moving service and an important opportunity to honour the service and sacrifice of our Vietnam veterans. I also had the pleasure of meeting Margaret Humphreys, whose husband served in the Vietnam War, and hearing a little of her story. A sincere thank you to the Vietnam Veteran Association Australia Launceston sub-branch and the RSL for organising this meaningful commemoration, and to Danny and Abby from the events team, and Greg, who has been providing transport for our veterans for many years. Yesterday, Charlotte from Launceston Central and I had the opportunity to take part in another event from Launceston Central's Unwind program, a 30-minute total body workout at Curves, the Women's Health and Fitness Club. A big thank you goes to Eve, the owner and manager of Curves Launceston, for showing us how to use all the equipment. It was fun and a positive way to take a little time out, get moving and focus on well-being. Thank you to Curves for being part of this great program and helping our community unwind. There is 3 more days of this wellness festival, the last day being on Sunday. So anyone needing to unwind, check out Launceston Central's website for programs that suit you, whether it's for mindfulness, connection, movement, or movement. There is something for everyone. And I'd like to thank again Launceston Central for the great work of bringing the community together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kai. Any other councillors' reports? I just got your name.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Harris, for those who aren't familiar, just a couple of items I'll talk about. Yes, first of all, the Franklin House Committee, which I am the council representative. Franklin House, which is a National Trust property, has been closed for 2 months. We'll be reopening on the 1st of September. And we'll be reopening with an Ikebana exhibition, which is a Japanese art floral display. And certainly if people are interested in that, they should make the opportunity to go along and have a look. There will actually be a couple of workshops for those who want to know how to do it themselves. Because of the reopening, they've had a big spring clean in the Franklin House itself, but they do need more volunteers. Like many other organisations, they continue to need more volunteers, both as house guides, but also those who might be interested in working in the garden. As Councillor Kai said, we did attend the Vietnam War commemoration with the Mayor on Tuesday, but I had to leave that a bit early to attend to the John Calvin School, who I think they were probably grade 1 and 2 students, had a group of 20 of them through the town hall here and also into this room to show them what democracy looks like. That was a great experience to have 26-year-olds or 8-year-olds running around the room here and trying to control them when the Mayor walked in. I'll sit down and say thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Councillor Britton?
Just very quickly, I just wanted to mention it was a fantastic tour around the self-help workplace. I went out there with Councillor Kai, and really hoping that the council can hopefully work in with them. There's a few ideas that Alex, the Deputy CEO, has, and looking forward to any further discussions there.
Thank you. Councillor Walker?
Look, I just thought I'd stand, considering the committees were mentioned. I have in the last 2 weeks chaired the Cultural Advisory Committee meeting and also the Homeless Advisory Committee meeting. Considering that we do have forthcoming elections, it might be the last time I chair those meetings. And I just would like to thank the community members especially who participate on those committees. And I'm not going to go through and list and name everyone, but these are people who have a passion in those areas. In the case of the Homelessness Committee, it is services especially, it's the police, it is people with lived experience of homelessness who give of their time to coordinate Launceston Council's efforts in that space. And I know that people think we can always do more, but at least in that particular environment, we are doing everything we can to direct council resources towards assisting, especially those services that work in that area and coordinating ourselves with them. When it comes to the Cultural Advisory Committee, there is a plethora of work that the council has done over the last 4 years, and I have chaired that committee for the last 4 years, along with some extremely talented, creative staff workers who either administratively or through their own practice are part of our creative community. And that contribution is really invaluable to this council. To see community connection with our decision making is a really important thing. I also thank Councillor Britton, who's on that advisory committee, Cultural Advisory Committee with me. He has been instrumental in moving forward the concept of Launceston Council being involved in acknowledging 100 years since we experienced a major flood, the major flood in Launceston in 1929. So that might seem like a few years away, it is, but that'll come around really quickly, and it really is a great opportunity for Launceston to reflect partially on that heritage, but also to prepare, because this is not something that is never going to happen again. And just finally, next week we'll be sitting on the audit panel, which I've been a member of for 8 years, and it's really important work, working with outside audit panel members to keep a very clear, distinct view on the spending within Launceston Council. And although this council might make steps one way and another in regards to our financial decision making, I can assure people that the audit panel is just one of many areas where checks and balances are constantly applied to all the decisions that council makes. So I've been proud to be a member of all those committees, and I'm not saying that I won't be there next year, but if I'm not, I just thank all the people that have been involved. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Walker. Any other? Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Acting Chair. Just a big shout out to Heathers the Musical and the team behind it, Encore Theatre Company. Did an outstanding job. They held that at Scotch Oakburn College. Every show was sold out. I attended the Launceston College We Will Rock You just recently, and again that was sold out. It was just an incredible show, and all the power to all the students and the behind the scenes staff that helped that get on the road. And again, it just shows you the power of the arts, because every single show, both shows were sold out. So this city loves the arts. And a big congratulations to Starting Point Neighbourhood House in Ravenswood. They've just been recognised as an employer of choice for the incredible work that they do in the community, helping the homeless and those people battling battles that most of us don't. So an incredible work they do up there. Just really want a big shout out to the community up there for getting behind everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Palmer. Anybody else? Okay, let's move on. Item 14, questions by councillors as listed and printed in the agenda. Item 14.2, questions without notice by councillors. Do we have any questions without notice? Councillor Kai.
Thank you, Chair. My question is, given the recent series of criminal and racially motivated incidents occurring along the Mowbray Main Street, what role can we as council play in working with Tasmania Police, local businesses, community organisations and affected residents to improve safety, address concerns about racial discrimination and help restore a sense of security and confidence within the Mowbray community?
Thank you, Councillor Kai. We will take that one on notice. Obviously, there's a few organisations that we would need to confer with, but obviously we have brought these kinds of issues up before in these council chambers, so we will take that one on notice. Thank you. Any other questions without notice? No? Okay, written notices of motion. Item 15.1, notice of vote motion anniversary, 25th anniversary of the Afghanistan War, 11th October 2026. Can I please have a mover? Councillor Palmer and a seconder? Councillor Britton. Councillor Palmer.
Thank you very much, Acting Chair, and thank you to my fellow councillors for looking at this notice of motion that Councillor Britt and I are bringing forward. All the information is in the agenda, so I won't go through absolutely everything, but what this is the 25th anniversary of Operation Slipper. It's to recognise the servicemen and women who served for us, and 41 of those servicemen and women paid the ultimate sacrifice. 261 servicemen and women were injured and did come home, but their sacrifice still continues. So what we're asking is a one-off help, basically, to commemorate those servicemen and women. There will be a service held in Canberra and in Hobart on the same day, and this is not going to be happening next year or the year after, possibly the 50th anniversary, but it's not a every year ask. We're just asking for the council to step forward. And we just heard about Vietnam veterans, the amazing support that we give them, and I wholeheartedly believe in the Vietnam veterans as well. My uncle served in Vietnam and he did come home, but was never the same. So if we can step forward and help the RSL commemorate Operation Slipper and all those servicemen and women, I think that is wholeheartedly the right thing to do, and I ask my fellow councillors to support us in this notice of motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Britton.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you, Councillor Palmer, for what you've said. I'll try not to repeat anything. I just want to talk. I understand that there are avenues that we can go down to receive event funding. I think it's just important for everyone to realise that although this obviously hasn't crept up on anybody, I believe the idea of having this 25th anniversary ceremony probably wasn't around in its fullest form a year ago. It has happened. They're having a major commemoration up in Canberra, and the other RSL clubs around the country are trying to come along with them. In terms of events and how we give money out to events, etc., we're often talking about commercial things. We're often talking about pretty joyous occasions. This is much like the other remembrance days and things we have. It's to pay our respects to those who have paid the ultimate price. Unfortunately, we didn't have the guys here to talk today, but Afghanistan being quite a recent war, a lot of those soldiers, and I don't know enough and I won't talk out of turn about it, but a lot of those soldiers are beginning to suffer now. They are a younger cohort of veterans and they're probably struggling or trying to find their way in the world at the moment. And this commemoration of 25 years, I think or what they are really hoping to do is to shine a light on that war, those veterans, and obviously pay our respects to them in their own right, and as the fact that it was their own war. So obviously this has come up a bit out of the blue. No, we're not following the regular events sort of strategy that we have. However, I truly do believe this is very worthy of the $3,700 that it will cost. We support the RSLs in every other avenue we can, and I do believe we should support them here.
Thank you, Councillor Britton. Do I have any other speakers? Councillor Walker.
Thank you, and I won't repeat anything that anyone else has said because I'll approach this from a slightly different angle, and I'll just look at the risk implications that were listed here, the reputational damage if council is perceived to favour particular organisations or events, increased requests for funding outside established processes, etc. You know, potential budget pressures. But I would say that I will, rue the day that it comes that this table cannot make a decision to allocate funding to an event that comes out of the blue, whatever that might be, if this table feels the need to do that. We should have the agility and the flexibility as a council. Indeed, we have in the past. Might I mention that we found $150,000 for a Foo Fighters event not that long ago. Where did that money come from? This is only a small request. It's something that we wouldn't normally sponsor. Indeed, it's an event that won't happen again. So it's not something that you'd expect to see as a recurrent request. But nonetheless, we should always maintain that agility and that ability to have funds on hand where when requests do come in, and they will come in, they're always unplanned events, that we are able to respond to them accordingly and not to have an approach which is this is not inside the policy, therefore it cannot happen. If we'd have taken that approach, of course, perhaps the Foo Fighters wouldn't have come to Launceston. We'll never know now. But nonetheless, we should have that agility. And if we don't have that agility, I'd like to know why. This is an organisation, $150 million organisation per year, if not a lot more actually, heading towards $200 million. This is an extremely small amount for an event that I thank Councillor Palmer and Britton bringing to our attention, and I hope you can surmise that I firmly support the notice of motion, and I encourage other councillors to do likewise.
Thank you, Councillor Walker. Any other speakers? No? Shall we put it to the vote? All those in favour? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 16, committee reports. 16.1, Heritage Advisory Committee meeting report. Councillor Kai. Councillor Pentridge, seconder. Thank you. Councillor Kai to speak.
Yes, please. So our last Launceston Heritage Advisory Committee meeting was held on the 7th. Was held on the 7th of July. The full report is in the agenda, and today we are accepting the report. But I would like to just highlight that in the meeting we had a guest speaker, Luke Smith of Arcadia Bespoke Builders. He was the recipient of the Heritage Skills sponsorship, and Luke shared with us his experience of attending the Longford Academy Autumn School, where he undertook specialised training in traditional building and heritage restoration techniques. He spoke about the exceptional calibre of the program, which attracted a full cohort of participants from across Australia and overseas, all committed to developing the skills needed to preserve built heritage that is appreciated worldwide. It was inspiring to hear how opportunities like this are helping build the next generation of skilled tradespeople dedicated to conserving Tasmania's rich architectural history. We hope that our heritage sponsorship will inspire more young people to learn more about our heritage trade. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kai. Councillor Pentridge, anything further? No? We'll take it to the vote. All those in favour to... Oh, sorry. Councillor Walker.
Thank you, Chair. I just would like to draw attention to item 9.3 on the minutes of the Heritage meeting, which indeed is 52 Franklin Street, the former nurses' quarters, gentlemen's residence that was heritage listed, that was removed from the street there in order to facilitate the state government building a mental health clinic. That house is no longer there, but I do note with interest under the local provisions for Launceston in the planning, with the Planning Commission, that 52 Franklin Street is still on our local heritage list. Unfortunately, the building doesn't exist anymore. So we would like to request that Council can progress the removal of that and bring that forward to a future council, which will give me another opportunity to talk about it. I also do note that heritage interpretation is being developed for the Cataract Gorge, which, you know, in and of itself may be a great thing, and I look forward to finding out more about that. I do note successive governments, both local and state, have moved towards putting interpretation in the gorge in the past, putting artworks in the gorge in the past, plaques, various things to various success. And I think that it is something that is important that gets brought to Council for consideration in the near future. But I do note with interest that that is also involving our Aboriginal community, and I congratulate the Council for that.
Thank you, Councillor Walker. Any further speakers? Thank you. Item 17. Oh yeah, I need to do that, don't I? Did you want to say anything further, Councillor Kai?
I might just do. Thank you for Councillor Walker for bringing that up, because Ian Borsman, who is the President of the Heritage Council, he also spoke on the day as well, mentioning 52 Franklin Street. He mentioned about the Heritage Materials Salvage Project, which has now became a national attraction, where he's gone to seminars and conferences to talk about how well this project has become. And that was all thanks to Councillor Walker for putting in the condition on the DA that the developers was to salvage as much of the heritage materials as possible. Hopefully next time I will have more details on that. But it was a really well worked. It worked out really, really well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kai. Let's put it to the vote. All those in favour of accepting the report? All councillors present. Thank you. Item 17.1, the quarterly report, connections and livability. Can I please have somebody to move that report? Councillor Harris. And a seconder, Councillor Britton. Councillor Harris.
Thank you, Acting Chair, and I'll simply say to everybody there is a lot going on in the Connections and Livability report. I won't speak on any particular item. I just encourage you all to have a good look at it because that really does summarise what's been going on for the last 3 months up to the end of the financial year.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Councillor Britton.
Look, I'll follow along with Councillor Harris, but I will just say now, thank you. We've got a lot of these quarterly reports to come through, and I'll try and say it at least once. Thank you very much to all the staff who do put in a great deal of effort to get these to us, so thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Councillor Walker.
Thank you. I note with interest the conclusion of the Beacon Foundation program as part of that. Was that a question? Was that funded as a one-off for this year? I do believe so. A good example it might be of council funding things out of cycle, I might add. And obviously the success of that has been relayed in the report, which is great. So it's certainly council funding something that's not normally part of what council would do. But I'd just like to ask if we do have any idea of whether this may be an ongoing relationship with Beacon Foundation.
Thanks, Councillor Walker. At this stage, we haven't had a request, but I expect that, given the success of the program, that we would probably get a request of that nature, which we would bring back to Council.
Anything further? Thank you, Councillor Walker. Councillor Priest.
Thank you, Chair. I just had a question in relation to Action ID S2 on page 15, or on page 66 of the report, actually, in relation to master planning for the heritage listed Inverest precinct adjacent to the QV Museum and University of Tasmania. It's just saying that submission was not completed, but obviously because of funding. As there is mention of that precinct plan in a item coming forward later in today's meeting, if a heritage precinct master plan was to be developed, would we be waiting for more funding for that to be done, or is that something that Council would take on by itself?
Thank you, Councillor Priest. The submission that was marked for that particular funding round, which was then ceased, it was a state government funding, that was actually for a much, much bigger development, a collection discovery centre, which had an estimated value of about $70 million on it. So we don't actually have an active project to do precinct master planning, although there's a lot of discussions about it at the moment, and I guess there's some internal planning and ideating at the moment about what that precinct could support.
Any further speakers? Let's take it to the vote. Oh, actually, sorry, Councillor Harris. Anything further?
Nothing further, thank you.
Thank you. All those in favour of accepting the quarterly report? All councillors present. Motion is carried. Item 17.2, Innovation Partnership and Destination Partnership Grants 2027. Could I please have a mover? Oh, actually, sorry, Councillor Palmer, thank you. If I could please have a mover, Councillor Harris, and a seconder, Councillor Pentridge. And we have some speakers to this particular item. First, we have Natalie Waters.
Thank you, Natalie Waters, CEO of the Tasmanian Turf Club. CEO, Chairman, Councillors, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today regarding the recommendation not to support the Launceston Cup with any funding under the Destination Grant in what is to be our 163rd running of this event. I would like to make it extremely clear that I am in full support of all events running in Tasmania. It runs in my blood. I've been an event manager in China for 15 years. I absolutely love events that bring our community together. So any of my following points, which I only have 2 minutes to go through, I just want to make that clear. I have nothing against any of the other people receiving funding, and I wish them all the very best. The Tasmanian Turf Club is celebrating its 200th year anniversary this year, and I feel the Launceston Cup has been part of the growth and the story of Launceston for 200 years. The Council's own strategic plan says it wants to enhance Launceston's reputation nationally and internationally as a leading host for events and festivals, while leveraging our history and natural beauty to encourage extended and expanded stays. Now, I want to bring to your attention a workshop that was taken by you guys. Now, during your presentation of workshops around the strategic destination grants and innovation grants, the number one to be considered for funding, applications must. The number one point, deliver events within the city of Launceston municipality. Now, I'm sorry, Party in the Paddock, love the event. It is not in the city of Launceston. I have been let known that there was an exception to the rule because they couldn't find a place big enough to hold this event. Hello, Launceston Turf Club, Tasmanian Turf Club. We are a huge outdoor venue. We were not approached in any way. You know, this is something we could consider holding within the city of Launceston. You know, we spend money taking people into the city on buses. We spend $4,000 doing that. Party in the Paddock provide buses to take people out of the city. So when you're considering this or when you're putting a panel together, please let them know what your strategic plan is. Your strategic plan in writing notes that you want to implement bold initiatives that increase nighttime activity, optimise dwell time, maximise appeal to locals and visitors, and add to the city's vibrancy and safety. Now, around Party in the Paddock, who's dwelling in the city during those 3 days of the festival? Who's eating food and beverages within our city of Launceston during that festival? I'm sorry, no one. People coming from Hobart, people coming from Smithton on buses, they are not stopping in Launceston to even buy fuel. Is that my time up?
I'll give you a few more seconds to finish that last bit you were speaking about.
Okay, so I just want to know that you're all aligned with your strategic plan and the actual eligibility requirements of this funding. I'll hand over now to the next speaker that can attest to what our score might have been and where we might have fallen down. I can't believe that we don't have a higher score than nearly everybody that applied, and this is why.
Thank you, Natalie. Our next speaker is Ossie Kamanzuli.
Thanks, that was well done. I'd just like to make some broad points first. The first one is that any decision that council makes should have two components, really an objective component and a subjective component, which is really judgment. And the judgment, I would say, for our grant is the knowledge that the club is 200 years old. We've been part of the community. We have been part of the community. We are part of the community. We will always be part of the community. We've always been a place for people to gather and people of all walks of life. Now, it's easy to put a number in a spreadsheet and you forget that context. With respect to the assessment and the rubric cube or assessment rubric, if I go down the assessment criteria, I would think that A, we provide a high quality event. Community and visitor impact is large because we get people from the mainland and over 5,000. And our strategic direction for our club is to actually move to an event management organisation in the business of entertainment, attracting people not only within Launceston, not only within Tasmania, but from the mainland. Delivery capability, we partner with a whole lot of businesses to put on our cup. It's a huge and massive undertaking. In fact, some of our partners are here today. The economic impact of the cup should be well known, or is well known, because a lot of businesses benefit from it. And hopefully we try and deliver the cup sustainably as well. We partner with organisations like Veolia. So I guess at the end of the day, it's a legacy that we will leave, and we will always be here.
Thank you, Ossie. I appreciate you coming today. We do have some speakers here representing Party in the Paddock. Come to the microphone, ladies. If you could just please state your name and address.
Thank you so much, Carly McClelland, 68 Westbury Road, South Launceston. Thank you so much for having me speak. I'm the festival producer for Party in the Paddock, and on behalf of Vibestown, I'd like to thank the team for allowing us to, inviting us to apply post our EOI process for the Destination Partnership Grant. And thank you to the assessment panel for their recommendation. We've appreciate it, that they see the value and contribution of Party in the Paddock to the City of Launceston, as we do. And thank you to everyone in this room who has worked on the Launceston City Council strategic framework and event framework that underpins the process. Launceston City Council does not host Party in the Paddock, but it does host the visitor economy associated with it. For the almost 14,000 people that's come to Party in the Paddock, it is the start and end of their journey. For the 1,200 to 1,500 interstate attendees that come each year, it's the airport they fly into, it's where they stay. They stay an average of 10 nights as of 2026, when the festival is only 4 nights. 30% of the ticket holders are non-camping, and Launceston is where they stay. So around 4,000 patrons. We run a bus service that goes in and out of Launceston CBD and from the Launceston Airport. And I think with that, there is immense opportunity for us to work in partnership, as the grant suggests, to deliver Launceston as a destination. So this partnership grant is not to fund the event. The event is funded. This is ring-fenced funding, a partnership between us and you, to champion Launceston as a destination to our interstate, our inter and intra-state attendees, and our marketing plan aligns with the Launceston strategic plan, seeking to continue to grow our visitation and in kind yours, and extend visitor stay and amplifying Launceston as a destination. What this buys is Launceston travel information and itineraries built for our interstate attendees, a landing page so mainland visitors can plan their flights, accommodation, and so on and so forth. Party in the Paddock has become a cultural rite of passage, and I think it really puts Launceston on the map, and we're really proud, despite it not being in the Launceston City Municipality, to be able to support Launceston as a destination and the vibrant city that the leadership team live and work in. Our office is just over here in the city of Launceston, and so we just wanted to say thank you to the team for recommending funding.
Thanks for coming along and speaking today. Are there any more speakers? Yes. Sorry, I don't have you down on our list. If you could just state your name and address. Please.
Yeah, sure. I'm Nicole Gossage of 10 Karen Crescent, South Launceston.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good afternoon. The Mayor's not here. Councillors. My name is Nicole Gossage and I'm here representing Salters Hire Tasmania, a family-owned Tasmanian business employing more than 50 Tasmanians statewide at the peak of our season. With significant investment, infrastructure and employment based in Kings Meadows within the City of Launceston. I've personally worked alongside the Tasmanian Turf Club through various roles across Launceston's event industry for more than 20 years. I want to make something clear from the outset. Salters Hire is a statewide business, but today I'm speaking from our Launceston perspective. We're here to support events, jobs and business across northern Tasmania. Not every event is everyone's cup of tea. That's the strength of a diverse events calendar. Today I'm asking Council to assess the Launceston Cup as an event against the criteria established for events. For more than 20 years, I've seen firsthand the local staff, contractors, suppliers, infrastructure, hospitality and accommodation that sit behind it. That economic benefit doesn't stop at the racecourse gates. This year, the Turf Club has budgeted $4,000 alone, specifically to move patrons back into the Launceston Central District after DJ Havana Brown. They eat here, they drink here, they stay here, they spend money here. Then there is something you cannot manufacture: legacy. The Tasmanian Turf Club celebrates 200 years in 2026, 200 years in the city. And this year, it's the 163rd Launceston Cup. Longevity shouldn't guarantee funding, but when sustainability and legacy form part of the criteria, surely that contribution deserves consideration. Council has previously recognised the Launceston Cup as a major signature event. In 2024, the event scored 76% against Council's criteria and received $15,000 in funding, with a decision unanimously supported by Council. Today, the recommendation before you is zero. 2 years, zero. Yet the Cup hasn't stopped bringing people here and employing people here or supporting local businesses. And it certainly hasn't lost its legacy. So I respectfully ask councillors to consider what has materially changed against the criteria this grant program asks events to meet. After more than 20 years alongside this event, I believe it remains worthy of this city's support. As Salters Hire, we support all events and people and businesses that make them happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Do we have any other speakers? Okay, back to the table. Councillor Harris, do you have questions or would you like to speak?
Perhaps I'd just like to open with a question, if I may, to the Executive Leader or the CEO, through you, Madam Chair. What has changed since last year with the grants policy that we have adopted? Because clearly there has been a few things that have changed. Are you able to enlighten us?
Thank you, Councillor Harris, for the question. So the grant policy is a newly adopted policy which is based on a new events framework that was adopted by Council in late 2025. And with that comes some new guidelines. The policy is designed to be transparent, consistent and a robust process, ensuring all applications are considered fairly against a published eligibility criteria, program objectives and assessment measures. The new guidelines shift our approach from simply providing funding to strategically investing in events sector that builds capacity, delivers strong community and economic outcomes and supports a well-balanced events calendar throughout the year. Most changes are they strengthened community participation and social cohesion, encourage innovation and new event concepts. They support sustainable delivery models, activate new spaces and places. They grow Launceston's profile as a destination. They build capability, capacity and sustainability of local event organisers. It supports a better variety of events spaced across the year, helping strengthen the overall event offering and avoiding over-concentration in particular periods. Greater recognition of regional benefits, so an event does not necessarily need to occur within the municipality to provide a significant benefit to Launceston. The guidelines allow Council to consider strategically important events outside where there is a clear benefit to the city. Funding does remain competitive. Applications are considered on their overall merit against the published criteria and available budget. I think importantly, the events that are not recommended today for funding are all eligible and all make a valuable contribution to the vibrancy of the city. Applications are assessed against published criteria and some rate higher than others. With finite funding available, the panel was unable to recommend every event for funding.
Councillor Harris.
Thank you very much for that. And I guess that's the part of what you said there is the key, that there has been a change. We can consider events that occur outside Launceston that do bring benefit to Launceston. A few that spring to mind that aren't on this list is something like the V8 supercars. Certainly happens in Northern Midlands, but the benefit of that is almost entirely here in Launceston. Party in the Paddock is not in Launceston, it's out at Quercus Park in the Meander Valley. And whilst it could occur in Launceston, whether it be at the Launceston racecourse or in fact at the Corula football ground, it would still have the same effect on the city. And that is 14,000 people would descend on that. They would camp for 4 days, 3 days, whatever. A portion of them would, and they would eat their food from the food banks, most of which are local businesses here in Launceston or northern Tasmania. And certainly for those who are operating bricks and mortar eating establishments in the city, they will have the same problem they have with Party in the Paddock, that everyone's out at the party there and not in the town eating. So this isn't about whether we love one child more than the other. It is about how they were ranked, also how far the money would spread. So I think there are probably some learnings for us that we will take as a part of this use of these guidelines for the very first time. However, for me, as a chair of the actual Innovation Partnership Grants and Destination Partnership Grants Committee that met to go through it, it was exceptionally difficult because in the past, if you had 80% or greater, you certainly would have qualified for all the funding you had requested. If you got 76, you would have qualified for 3/4 of what you got funding. Reality is the bucket was empty before we even got that far down. So it is what it is, and it isn't anything that you've done wrong if you missed out, but it is something that we might have to look at for the future. But for this particular round, I believe we have applied the rules as they were written, as they were intended to be written, because it was, as said, this is to encourage new events to grow the amount of events that happen in our city, because we cannot just rely on a few that occur in the post-Christmas period of January and February. We need to have greater spread, which helps the whole economic growth. And so that where someone can look at a new event that happens in June or July to understand why that got good funding now. But for each of our events, they should never think they are guaranteed or have a right to funding. It is a grant process, and we will fund what we think can work, what we think will grow. You have to stand on your own 2 feet. And thankfully, for 200 years, the Tasmanian Turf Club has been on their own 2 feet. And the 163rd running of the Launceston Cup will still go ahead, which is a fantastic thing. I've been going to the Launceston Cup since the 1990s. We used to probably attract somewhere in excess of 20,000 people. It was a very big event. We didn't have a whole lot of the other events that we now have in the city. So a lot went on in that time. But we are in a changing world. We have changing demographics and changing tastes. And event providers have to move to where the market is, or else they'll get left behind. A greater example of that can be the Launceston Running Festival, which was eligible and did gain some funding. That was an event that started by a local, and it used to maximise about 800 runners. This year it had 4,000 runners coming to Launceston, which allowed, through some funding from us, for that event to grow. But that operator of that event can never expect to always get our funding, because we will see he's successful, we'll move to the next one that we want to grow. And I guess the Fungi Festival might be a good example of that. Similarly, we won't continue to fund an event that hasn't succeeded. And there are a couple of those, you can look through the list, that may not have succeeded as originally thought. So we really do have to be, because ultimately we are spending our ratepayers' money for the betterment of the city. And there are some people who don't like horse racing. Not everyone did. But 150 years ago, when we declared a public holiday, there wasn't probably much else to do, so everyone went to the races. And it is a great day. And I do encourage you, and I thank you, Natalie, for coming and talking about the Launceston Cup, because it is great. But with that, I'll perhaps sit down and let the others
Thank you,
have a
Councillor
speak
Harris.
and come back to finish up at the end.
Thank you. Councillor Pentridge, did you want to add anything?
I'm a little bit lost for words. I think the community that's listening to this needs to be made very clear. The aldermen of this city did not make this decision, the staff did. For what it's worth, the staff make all the decisions.
Point of order.
We get the blame.
That's not correct.
Well, that's in your opinion. Right, I did pick up that maybe the Launceston Cup needs to change, and may I suggest maybe we could run them around the streets of Launceston from one pub to the other. But I think it's, I don't approve, and I'm quite sure a lot of this community doesn't approve that we are not supporting this event. And I don't need to hear about the gambling. It's a great social event. It's been here for a long time, and it's disappointing that we've chosen other events and sideline this. But in the old cliche, it's not over until the fat person sings. And I would encourage the Turf Club to continue on. And if the council can't support one of Launceston's major events, maybe we can look out there in the community and other people will. We'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Councillor Pentridge.
Thank you.
Councillor Britton.
Thank you very much. Look, I think, I've got some mixed emotions about this too, but what I want to make it very clear is we obviously adopted a new grants policy that has been put into effect. All of these events have been assessed against it, and this is the way the cards have fallen. Now, I don't want to now say that anyone has got anything wrong, but I'm going to hit everyone with a terrible cliche. The thing about a bucket is you don't know if it's got a leak in it until you fill it up with water. Now, ultimately, we've filled this up. We've all sat here and we've seen that maybe there is a leak. Maybe we're not happy with how this has been assessed. Maybe we're not happy with how the cards have fallen. The conversation at the moment seems to be about whether or not we should be supporting Party in the Paddock, potentially over a event like the Launceston Cup, which I will speak to in a moment. Having said that as well, there are 3 other events that scored higher than the Launceston Cup too, so we do need to be very aware of those events. In terms of the Launceston Cup, I'll very happily state that I believe that should or could already should be some form of a legacy event. I mean, it is our city's cup. There's no one in Melbourne debating whether or not they will do the Melbourne Cup next year. It is a great economic driver. It's a good day. It's the Melbourne Cup. Now, I know we don't live in Melbourne. We live in Launceston. But after today, however we choose to vote, I will be attempting or asking some questions to see if there is a possibility that we can do anything to aid the Launceston Cup. I wish everyone else and everyone else who did get funding all the best, and I'll leave it there. But only just to say that I do sympathise with what Councillor Pentridge said in some regards. We only get these grant funding, we only get this information a week prior to this meeting, and there has been a lot of discussion. I think a lot of things have jumped out at us, and potentially some things may need some tweaking, but I'll just leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Britton. Councillor Walker.
Question, if I may, Chair, to begin with. Thank you. The signature events at the beginning of this report, the Innovation Partnership grants over a 3-year period, $50,000 both for Junction Arts Festival and the Festivali event to the committee. That's $50,000 over 3 years, I take it, or is it $50,000 per year? And yet the total says $100,000. So that's taking money out of future budgets that don't exist at the moment. It's presuming that money will come out of those budgets and that this will be allocated, but that's not a guarantee until those budgets are ratified. That would be correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Similar to the old signature funding that was for 3 years.
Yes, yes. No, just making it clear there. Look, one thing I appreciate around, to speak if I may, thank you, Chair, one thing I appreciate around this table is the willingness of councillors to listen, to change their minds if necessary. And I think it shows a genuine desire for councillors to represent the people of Launceston, to express their concerns, as is their job. And I'd like to, through you, Chair, like Councillor Britton, I do have the concerns, and I'm probably sure every councillor here does. I haven't been to the races one day in my life, to be honest, but I've always appreciated the fact that Launceston has a tradition like that, much like we used to have a show day. Of course, you know, we don't have we do have a Royal Show Society, but, you know, let's hope it continues and returns to Launceston. But in the meantime, this is part of our heritage. And you might not like horse racing. You might not like going to watch that, but this is a part of our community, and this is who we represent. So, you know, I too struggle when something like this gets presented to us. I did express my concern when we changed the policy around how we were going to evaluate and who was going to evaluate the events. And it's not a case of everyone gets a prize. Of course it's not. When you apply for a grant, you know there's a chance that you won't get that grant, whether you're an artist or whatever it might be. That's just life. There's no expectation that, yes, you should definitely get it. We're obviously oversubscribed, nearly double. And so it is beholden upon us to therefore look at this and go, well, what can we do better? How can we address this? Is it a case of allocating more money? Is it a case of allocating less money per event? You know, I know my fellow councillors are willing to have those conversations. And I know that my fellow councillors are concerned that a signature event like the Launceston Cup, who has traditionally had support from Launceston Council, missed out on it recently, a few years ago, I do believe. They got that reinstated. So that's been an ongoing journey. But I know that my fellow councillors are concerned about that, just as the community is and just as they should be. We like parts of our tradition. We like different events for different people. I do tend to see a preponderance of events that you might describe as very contemporary, very creative, maybe aimed towards younger people, and that may be a great thing. We might become the flavour of the month as a result of us pursuing avant-garde type events. That's great too. We should be able to cater for different groups of people. But I hope I've made it clear that these decisions are not taken lightly. This process is not something that we all necessarily wholeheartedly support. And yet it's all we have. It's what we have at the moment. So I'm quite prepared to look at that. And like Councillor Britton, I have suggested that I'm quite prepared to sit down with the Launceston Cup, with the Ladbroke Cup, with the Tasmanian Turf Club, and discuss other ways that we can be supportive if indeed this result is accepted by this table today. Because I think that is part of our job, to recognise, and that might mean that other groups that have missed out also come forward and say, well, what about us? We scored better than them. It all depends who's creating the criteria for the scoring, who's doing the judging. Of course it does. That's just life, no matter what particular grant you're after. So I can make that pledge, and I can't obviously make any promises. I think it would be wrong of us to unwind this process at this stage because, as has been noted, there are other applications for all types of various events that have some who've missed out, some who've been partially funded, some who've been fully funded. I could agree and disagree with some. Someone else would have a different opinion than me. This is what we're left with. This is what the only decision we're making today, whether we accept this or not. But I say that I'm extremely open to that. I would be also very open to that discussion because it seems as though innovation and creativity are becoming more a part of what is being asked from events. Now, you know, it might be difficult for a horse race to become innovative. What are you going to do? Make the horses run backwards? Of course, it's not just a horse race, and I'm being a bit flippant, I know. My apologies, Chair.
Thank you.
I will finish by saying, you know, that discussion needs to be had with those organisations. What can we do as a council to help them become more innovative and creative to meet our criteria? That's the, you know, at this stage, the best that I can offer is that my door is open to have that discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Walker. Any other comments around the table? Okay. Councillor Harris to close.
Thank you very much, and yes, thank you to the other speakers, and I'm sure all of us have our door open to those who might have missed out, come and talk about what might be possible. Of course, in the middle of an election, it's not necessarily able for us to do something until the new council is in place, but it is something that we could certainly look at. I was going to run through those who received the grants and also those who missed out, but it is in fact quite obvious. If you look at it, there is in fact quite a breadth of different events, whether it be sporting events, whether it be music, even some where you have to bring your own voice and be part of the Festival of Voices for the first time. So it is something that is probably proven. The process might need to be tweaked. We might need to put, as Councillor Walker said, more money in the bucket for us to consider, but we have to decide where that money would come from. So I ask for the support of those around the table to support the motion, which does in fact say in the first line of it that the remaining funds will be, for the 3-year agreements, will be allocated from future budgets of 27-28 and 28-29. So accepting this will in fact guarantee that funding for those 3-year events. No worries. With that, I'll sit down.
I have a point of order on that. Because I did ask the question, are we approving that now? My presumption is we would not be approving those future budgets. By all means, the intended allocation, but not the actual allocation.
Thank you. Through the Chair, Councillor Walker, this is no different to other agreements that Council has endorsed, for example, VNT, Visit Northern Tasmania, which are multi-year agreements, NTDC agreements, agreements with the state government, for example. So in making this decision, you are giving authority for us to sign a multi-year agreement, which will have future budget impacts.
Sorry, all done, councillors. Now to put it to the vote. If I could have a show of hands of those in favour. Okay, so we have Councillor Cry, Councillor Priest, Councillor Britton, Councillor Harris, Councillor McMahon. Those against? Councillor Walker and Councillor Pentridge. The motion is carried. Thank you. Item 17.3. Community Event and Fundraising Event Grants Round 2. If I could have somebody please move the motion. Councillor Harris, somebody to second. Councillor Palmer. Councillor Harris.
We'll perhaps just wait for some of those to leave the room. So this is the second part of the outgoing grants and policy funding and events program. This is the small events. This has, again, showed that we have a lot of events that have asked for funding, and again, we have had to not fund all those that were after some funding for their events. The variety of events is considerable, and in some cases it is over lots of weekends, particularly in the case of World Street Eats, which has a number of events that happen each month and spread out at various locations around the city. We also have the DBD lunchbox concerts, which have been a successful import from Hobart, but certainly has been very well received by those who attend those lunchtime concerts, as well as some multicultural with the Sri Lankan New Year Festival as well. There are, I won't go through them all, lots of good events there. Again, there are a number that missed out based on the weighting that we had to apply. We did do some shuffling of funding to encourage, to support those events that were very well regarded, but the bucket had emptied. So we moved some funding, particularly from the event fundraising, event grants, to actually fund more events on the other side of the ledger. So we do try to do as much as we can as the Grants Committee, but once again, there wasn't enough in there to fund everything, but I do hope that my fellow councillors will support me in endorsing the recommendation that has come from our committee that has dutifully applied all of the guidelines to create the scores that have been created and, as I said, hopefully bring some of these events to our city. And some of these may end up growing from what they are to something larger. And that is something that we do try to encourage with events, to perhaps step up from one smaller to something larger. And the Fungi Festival is certainly a great example of that. We'll see how that goes. Thank you.
Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Acting Chair. Not too much more to add other than to say congratulations to those events that did receive funding, and for those events that missed out this time, please don't ever be scared to reapply, because we'll go through the same process once again, and we really encourage all those groups to do reapply, and that's all I have to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else around the table? Okay, shall put it, to close. Councillor Harris, nothing further? Okay, all those in favour? All councillors present? The motion is carried. Thank you. Okay, Community Assets and Design, 18.1 Quarterly Report. If I could please have somebody to move that we accept the report. Councillor Harris, someone to second. Councillor Palmer. Councillor Harris, do you have any questions?
No questions on this particular report, other than to say thank you to our staff for preparing such a comprehensive report. Our Community Assets and Design team certainly do a lot. I could not believe when I read how much is in here that was all done within the past 3 months. So I do want to thank not only the leader, but also all of the staff who are out there working for our city and doing all of these wonderful things. I'll leave it at that because people can read it themselves, and we've got plenty of others on the agenda.
Thank you. Councillor Palmer, nothing else? Okay, all those in favour? All councillors present? Motion is carried. Item 18.2, NTCA Sports Complex redevelopment. We have quite a few speakers for this one. So I might ask for a mover, please. Councillor Walker, somebody to second. Councillor Harris. And our first speaker for today is Jim Dennis.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Jim Dennis. I'm the president of the Old Scott Football Club, whose home is at the NTCA ground at Racecourse Crescent. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak in support of this project. Firstly, I wanted to thank the council for the consultative process that we've been through. It's been a long process, but I think as a club, we in particular feel heard, and the outcome of that process and the design that we have to date certainly demonstrates that I think we've been heard. So thank you for that. Firstly, on the need for this, I've been volunteering at the NTCA ground for nearly 30 years. It has been in disrepair for, I would say, that entire period. During that time, you've seen things like the degradation of the grandstand to the point now where visitors' chairs collapse under their weight as they sit on them. We've had enormous growth in female participation in our club and in our junior associated club, and the standard of what we have goes nowhere near what we need to support that. Our elderly spectators and those living with a disability find very little accommodation for them to watch games, and the venue really does not suit their needs. From someone who's been quite hands-on down there, I can tell you that there is no practical way to maintain reasonable hygiene anymore, from cleaning the bathrooms to operating some of our facilities. We do our best, but it is really very, very challenging. And that goes also to the staff, the council staff that work down there, and that's the last point that I wanted to make. They do an excellent job. The current team down there take real pride in the facility, but it is very evident the difficulty they faced day to day getting it up to a standard for us to train, for visitors to watch, and for our teams to play. So I appreciate the consultation, the design, support the proposal, and think it's a great investment for our community.
Thank you so much, Jim. Okay, so we now have Lawrence Dodson.
Thank you, Chair, councillors. I'm Lawrence Dodson. I'm the president of the Launceston Cricket Club. The Launceston Cricket Club has existed at the NTCA complex for 185 years, either as the original owners or a tenant. This tenure has seen generations of cricketers come and go, and we stand here today with the ability to secure the future of the complex for countless more. Echoing Jim's sentiment, the council's own assessment, We recognise the infrastructure is ageing, it's non-compliant, and these limited capacity of the facility limits our functionality to grow, attract new players, especially in the female cricket space, which we all know is booming. This proposed redevelopment offers the opportunity to change that with the new pavilions, the new change rooms, and just a more welcoming complex. Again, we feel very heard in the design process, countless hours, with the consulting. We feel that this new facility will give the opportunity to all the tenant clubs to have a place where we exist and be proud of on a permanent basis. So I would strongly recommend and hope that you do that approve the recommendation to council today, so we can all move forward and look forward to a brand new facility in the future.
Thank you, Lawrence. Next we have Jeremy Jackson.
Thank you, Chair. Councillors, my name is Jeremy. I'm here on behalf of the South Launceston Cricket Club, who are a long-term tenant of the NTCA complex. I've been at our club since I was 12, some 25 years ago, and I'm a former president of the club for a period of 9 years. Thus, I think I know the shortcomings of the facility very well. Over my 25 years of involvement, and for many years prior to that, as I'm reliably told, the facility remains largely unchanged. Band-aid fixes here and there, but ultimately now outdated, falling apart, and frankly in places dangerous. Our club is proud to have more than 250 active members, from 7-year-olds to 65-year-olds, and well upwards of 1,000 weekly patrons in the form of our member families, volunteers and spectators. Women's cricket has participation has skyrocketed in the last decade, along with masses of junior cricketers, male and female. These increases are great for our clubs, but also, more importantly, great for the wider community, providing great physical and social outcomes for all participants. Unfortunately, though, the NTCA complex presents many risks and significant challenges for modern, diverse sporting clubs like ours. The change rooms and amenities, as has been said, are not at all fit for multi-gender use, presenting us with huge challenges and safety risks. Time won't allow an in-depth rundown of all issues today, but another prime example of a safety risk or a hazard was last year one of our members put their foot through a rotten part of the function room floor, narrowly avoiding serious injury. The complex is living in the 1970s, both cosmetically, but more importantly, functionally, and it's in urgent need of a redevelopment that should have had a long time ago. I've been part of that volunteer working group that's worked tirelessly over 3 years to get this to the point where it's in front of you today. If it falls over now, where do we go? Where do we go from here? We need to get the place back to where all users, particularly women and children, can feel safe and welcome. It's a long overdue opportunity. I hope you vote in favour. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Just a little reminder, we probably don't need to repeat how bad the situation is right now. I think we've heard that a few times. So we'll now have Marshall Pooley. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Councillors, my name is Marshall. I'm representing the Northern Rangers Soccer Club and am here in support of the recommendation for the Council to contribute to the redevelopment of the NTCA complex. This year, Northern Rangers celebrates its 30th anniversary. For the past 27 years, Northern Rangers have called the NTCA home. I've been involved for 24 of those years and, like Jeremy, have been around the place and seen the shortcomings of the precinct. For the past 3 years, I've been involved in the working group representing Northern Rangers, working alongside the other user groups and the council members to shape the redevelopment. Together, we've worked to ensure the project meets the needs of the current users and also providing for future growth. Today, Northern Rangers provides opportunities for around 250 junior players and also 80 senior players, supported by dedicated coaches, volunteers and families. Junior participation has increased 20% this calendar year. And of that 20%, there was also a 25% increase in female participation in our juniors. We expect similar growth on the next season on the back of the 2026 Men's World Cup and also the 2027 FIFA World Cup in Brazil for the female players. As participation grows, our facilities must keep pace. Suitable change rooms for both male and female participants are critical as part of this project. Every player deserves to feel safe, protected, and have quality facilities. No young female player should feel uncomfortable participating in community sport. This redevelopment will improve facilities, accessibility, parking, and overall experience for participants, volunteers, spectators, while supporting continued growth across multiple sports. Most importantly, this project is an investment in community sport, inclusion and volunteers and future generations. On behalf of the Northern Rangers Soccer Club, I encourage the councillors to support this recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Marshall. And our last speaker is Nicholas Emden.
Good afternoon, Chairperson, CEO and councillors. My name is Nick Emden and I'm speaking as the President and on behalf of the East Launceston Junior Footy Club, its members, all of us parents and of course all our young players who, in my view, are the most important people in our community and stand to be the most advantaged if we can get this across and disadvantaged by the continued lack of investment at the moment in this facility. We are a tenant club of the NTCA ground and we call it our home. To me personally, it's effectively been a second home since I moved up here to Launceston 20 years ago. Every week through the football season, I'd probably estimate up to 700 young athletes put on their boots in this facility, whether it be for training or for games. We've got little 4-year-old Oz kickers all the way up to our under 16 and under 17 top age boys and girls. For these kids, this ground is where they fall in love with sport. They learn what it means to be part of the team. Unfortunately, right now, as we've heard, the facilities where these kids and their families use just quite aren't good enough. We've got young girls changing in spaces never designed for them, often just outside in a nook with friends on the lookout to let them know if it's safe to get changed. Sunday afternoon, I told my daughter to just hold on until we could get home 5 minutes away. It's not the best. There's open showers, toilets are shared with boys and men. In 2026, with everything we now understand about child safeguarding, just that simply isn't acceptable. It's not fair on our players and opposition, not fair on our volunteers. It's not fair on this council to keep asking us to make do. The good news is this isn't a new problem to solve. The master plan already solves that. Its own objectives call for change to toilet facilities suitable for multi-gender participation, with gender equity and child safety named as its core outcomes, not an afterthought. This need will only grow. Council's own regional sports facilities plan shows Northern Tas. Mind if I continue?
I'll give you a little bit longer.
Thank you. It's already shows we're already short on AFL ovals, and that gap widens every year to 2036, while girls' and women's participation continues to climb. A ground that has hosted the greater Launceston community for 175 years deserves a future to match that's history. I want to thank Council for the work they've already done, last October's endorsement, the design work, the development application which is already approved. We're incredibly supportive of the process undertaken and the design proposed, and it fully supports our club's needs. I'm here to ask you to please keep that momentum and approve this project so every kid who walks through those gates has a safe, modern place to change, to play and to belong, and that the overall facility, the club rooms, the change rooms, are all brought up to modern standards to suit a ground with such history and prestige. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Walker.
Thank you. And these are great testimonials for the application towards Growing Regions Program Round 3 funding application. Can I just ask a question to begin with? Would the funding application be for stages 1 and 2 of the development, or would it just be for the first stage?
The funding application would actually be for stages 1, 2 and C, as we were named up in the master plan. Yes. So that includes the circular track around the outside of the playing field of Pavilion 1 and the 2.
Great, thank you for that, because it just wasn't explicit in here. I thought it would be. Yeah, my name's Tim Walker. I played for Golconda All-Stars out at just a bit far past Labrina the last 15 years. We haven't been able to put a team together for the last few years, but no, I am a cricketer for many years. Played for Longford back in the day when we were a half-decent team as well, back in the early 80s. So I understand local sport. I understand the heritage that has been mentioned as people speak, contained within the NTCA ground. And I think Terroir Architects with Sam Project leading there and the council have been very cognisant of that in this whole process. We too have been taken on that journey over the last 3 years. And you can see the consultation in that design, the consideration for the heritage, the consideration for how different facets of the ground can be used at different times for different purposes. I would like to see some things go further. For example, along Dowling Street and on Henry Street, where at the moment that doesn't have a lot of treatment. I can see that parking could be an issue, given certain constraints, and I could see that council has a role to play there in how some of how some of that is treated. It might be just something additional, but I do think that this is such a future focused project for council. It's something that obviously answers the needs of today, as we've heard, but really this is answering the needs of tomorrow and the future for our children and their children, really, when this type of facility can incorporate so many different groups. Of course, being able to be used by our female athletes as well. But I think more than that, all the different sports, for it to become that multifaceted program. And I can see it being just the sort of thing that the federal government can look at and go, this ticks all those boxes. Of course, all along Dowling Street, there are further opportunities there depending on what happens with some of the land down there. So that also has the potential, this site, for some growth potentially in the future. I know that's not a part of today's plans, and I know that councillors have made suggestions in regards to movement of people. If you're coming from Henry Street, say from the eastern side of Launceston, will people be able to use this space to get across from Henry Street over to Cemetery Street, for example? There's potential there for it to be, I suppose, a community facility beyond the sport in that regard. But that's, these are all considerations that have to be made and maybe included, maybe not. But this initial stage of putting this out to other levels of government and seeking their imprimatur, seeking their support is such an important part. It is one of those projects that I think anyone who looks at the design, and that is on the agenda as an attachment, will get excited about the potential that sits there. So heartily endorse it and, encourage Launceston Council to be involved in more future proofing projects like this, not just to be fixing up what has deteriorated, but to reach beyond that, and I think that's what we're doing here. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Walker. Councillor Harris.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you to the speakers who came out. Yes, I remember going to the NTCA to get Jack Simmons to teach me how to bowl off spin. So that was a long, long time ago, and I doubt those change rooms have changed from the 1970s. I won't speak about the need for this complex upgrading because it's obvious. What this is part of the process that council must endorse and be aware of what our council staff are applying for in regard to grants. This is a $15 million commitment from council, along with hopefully a $15 million grant from the federal government. Now, if we were successful in getting that $15 million grant from the federal government and we had not gone through the process we are doing here today, functionally we could turn up and go, well, actually we haven't got $15 million spare for that. It might have been a good idea to apply, but we can't now match the grant and build it, and that would be nothing worse. So today is really about supporting the project or funding, and we will add it to our future funds, our future planning, so that if we are successful, we know that we have to find $15 million or thereabouts to redevelop the NTCA in stages 1, 2 and 3, I think you'd call it, or A, B and C. I'm not sure what you do it. But as others have said, this is still not the end of it. There is opportunity for other people to help funding, and particularly Cricket Tasmania, because the indoor nets that have been out there nearly as long as when Jack Simmons was there could certainly do with an upgrade into a high performance funding session, but we are not trying to fund that today. That will be for a future, but perhaps Cricket Tasmania could come to the party on that. But with that, I'll just sit down and let anyone else want to talk about it, but I think it's just everyone should support this upgrade.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Any other speakers? Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Acting Chair. Just some words that jumped out at me. Thankful, felt heard, disability access, council staff, infrastructure not compliant, 25-year involvement, safety risk, suitable change rooms, open showers, toilets, obviously just not appropriate with those open showers and toilets. So it's pretty evident that it needs an upgrade, a redevelopment. I just wanted on the record that I fully support it, and I would like to say thank you very much to our council officers. I know Council Officer Newby here has been on this journey for some years, so I just want to say well done, thank you very much. And also we have our external stakeholder here, Sam Tucker. So thank you very much, and I'm in full support of this.
Thank you, Councillor Palmer. Anybody else wanting to speak to the item? No. Councillor Walker to close. Nothing further. Let's put it to the vote then. All of those in favour? All of those against? Councillor Pentridge. Okay. Thank you. Item 19.1. Quarterly report, delivery and performance. If I please have somebody to move to accept the report. Councillor Harris. Somebody to second. Councillor Priest, thank you. Councillor Harris, would you like to speak to that?
Yes, thank you. This is another of the quarterly reports that we have from our delivery and performance team under Executive Leader Nathan Williams. Again, it goes to show the good work that goes on in council, and I do thank Nathan and his team for all of this. This is all the backroom stuff. This isn't the sexy, exciting things of building new things necessarily, but it does keep track of the money, and I do note that on there has been the new payables system. I think it's how you describe it, for people who wish to pay their rates off over a yearly or monthly or weekly. I think that is a good step forward. And I do thank Nathan and his team for what they have done, and also for bringing this good report forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Councillor Priest. Nothing further? Any other speakers? No. Put to the vote. All of those in favour? All of those against? Councillor Pentridge. The motion is carried. Item 19.2. So today we are receiving this report as a response to Councillor Harris's notice of motion. Before we go to a mover or a seconder, can I just please ask the CEO to give us an indication of where we go from here?
Thank you, Chair. By way of an update in relation to this matter, and as discussed with councillors at workshop and via recent emails, you should hopefully be aware now that the next step from this, today we're receiving updated information in respect to Councillor Harris's motion. We intend to be bringing back to the next council meeting in 2 weeks' time a further update in relation to policy updates and amendments for council's consideration, which will look at the capping arrangements for all land classes, not just primary production. Of course, we'll have the financial modelling and the relevant decisions that would be required to do that, noting it will be a rescission motion required to reverse the previous decision, amend the policy and then move forward. So those options will be presented in a public agenda report next.
Thank you. Can I please have a mover to receive the report? Councillor Harris, and a seconder. Councillor Palmer. Mover to speak.
Thank you very much, and I do want to thank the staff, to Executive Leader Williams and his team, for being able to put this report together in such a short time. It is only 2 weeks since we passed that notice of motion, and it is interesting just to reread the recommendation. The Council received the report in response to my notice of motion, requesting a report in the effect of applying a rate cap of 20% on primary production to commercial rate charge budget, and notes the analysis of potential financial and policy implications associated with extending a 20% capping mechanism across additional rating categories. So this is cause and effect. We cannot, and we should be aware, if we make one change, others can feel disadvantaged, and we have to make sure that we cover all those bases to be fair to all our ratepayers. The process needs a rescission of motion, as the CEO said, so therefore it is only fair that we carry that forward and do not make a decision here today, other than to receive this report, and we will action this at our next and final meeting before we go into caretaker period in a fortnight's time. So once again, thank you to the staff who put this together.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Acting Chair. I'm going to note the report and say thank you very much to the council officers for providing it to us. However, I do draw your attention to page 117. The following projects and programs have been identified as potential expenditure reductions to offset the revenue foregone. As a collective, us councillors would like the council officers to come back to us with savings, efficiencies within Town Hall, not dip into our investments in the community. So those listed there, for example, delay, cancel, Lilydale Memorial Hall floor remediation, we want that removed. We don't want that tampered with. Delayed renewal of the gorge swimming pool, we don't want that tampered with. So if the council officers could come back to us with savings within Town Hall, and once again, not dip into our investments in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Palmer. Any other speakers? Sorry, we didn't have you listed on the form.
Yes, I've put my name.
Oh, okay. Yep. Come forward to the microphone and just please state your name and address.
Hi, my name's Melissa Sapola. I live at 234 Cherry Farm Road, Underwood. Thank you, Councillor Harris, for bringing this motion, and thank you to all councillors for considering this matter with an open mind. As you are aware, you as councillors have a broad discretion to set the rates. My husband and I own rural land classified as primary production. We have a current small operation on a historical farm that has been established since the 1960s. We have plans, hopes and dreams to expand our farm. We have slowly been tackling huge jobs at our property to regenerate the farm. We still have a long way to go. The council's rate increase this year and last year are crushing our plans and dreams. It angers me that this council is using the fact that most increases are less than $1,000 per property as a selling point for the 40% rate hike. This is a lot of money to all farmers who are battling inclement weather impacting growing conditions, as well as cost increases in every aspect of their business. We don't have any sealed roads, our road is not sealed to our property, or any other amenities that city businesses and residents have. I don't agree that this money is needed for this council. Here are a couple of examples for expenditure from the budget that require investigation. Council has budgeted $9.5 million for economic development and promotion, $31 million for cultural facilities, which is double 2026. Governance is almost $4 million. Operations, $18 million. Planning approvals cost this council $4.7 million. These are huge numbers. The $570,000 from this farmer's tax is not a huge number in comparison. The proposed cuts are cherry-picked projects aimed to pit farmers against the wider community. That is unacceptable. I urge you councillors to stand up for your community and require a meaningful expenditure analysis, which I know sounds like that's in the works, before continuing this farmers' rate hike. I will leave you with this question. Are you satisfied that this council has considered all practical cost-saving measures to justify this rate hike? It sounds like you're all over that, so I'm happy to hear that development. But just wanted to say my piece.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for coming along. Okay, so any other speakers? Councillor Walker, to close. Oh, sorry.
No, we're still doing speakers. We've had mover and seconder,
Yes,
I do believe.
we have. Yep.
Thank you. I just want to start with a question to our CFO. Our money man. What advice are we giving at the moment to ratepayers who are in the category of primary produce who have concerns about the rate rise in terms of payments or, potential future changes?
So we've received in total less than 20 written pieces of correspondence from primary production. So when you consider there's almost 600, the percentage is quite low. We have been responding, advising that council is actively considering the matter, which obviously we're doing today. And as the CEO has indicated, we will be bringing a further report in a fortnight's time.
So maybe it should be more clear. For someone who's maybe concerned, they have this bill and they're not sure how to pay it, what advice would we give them?
So the first instalment of the rates is due on the 31st of August, which is clearly before the next council meeting. So what I would advise those ratepayers is that council, as I said, is going to actively consider the matter, given it is only a few days after when council will consider a potential cap. We will circulate some advice advising impacted primary production ratepayers of that, and we can certainly put a hold on that payment by a couple of days. If, as some ratepayers do, they pay early, they're on a payment plan, etc., any amendment to capping or a potential change in property type, which has been a common issue if you've read the report, we can certainly credit or refund any amounts paid in advance as well.
Briefly, if I may, Chair, just to reiterate that potential for some people to change their property type. Given that maybe some places have historically been primary produce and yet they're no longer actively producing as such, to consider being categorised as a residential property rather than a primary produce property. But as we can see, there are so many different types in this category, and I thank Councillor Harris for bringing this motion forward through you, Chair, just to clarify that and to give ourselves and therefore the community more options.
Thank you, Councillor Walker. Any further comments? Councillor Pentridge.
Trying to keep my promise. I don't know that we need to 6 people that put in representation. Might I suggest that the rest of the community is still probably in shock, right? But and 6 people is what, about 1,000% more than what about other surveys where we get 1 or 2 people addressing. I don't really see the need to bring that up because people are quite shocked.
Point of order. That question was actually asked.
Okay, so I apologise and we'll leave it at that.
Thank you. You have a question, Councillor Harris. Were there any other speakers first, please? No? Councillor Harris.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick question to the Executive Leader. Should a person ask for their property to be re-evaluated by the Valuer General today or any other time during the next few weeks or months, what date would the Council apply that revaluation from rural production back to residential?
Thank you, Councillor Harris. So that process is entirely managed by the Office of the Valuer General, which is a state government entity. We would receive notice from them once the reclassification process has been completed. We would then update, if applicable, the rating category back to residential in this case. But to answer your question, it would apply from the date that they submitted their objection to the Valuer General. So if they applied that today and it takes 6 months, then it will be backdated to today. And what has been indicated to us from the Office of the Valuer General is they can probably turn this around in the next couple of months. So it would certainly be within this financial year.
Thank you very much. So in summary, if anyone out there is listening and they have a property that has previously been primary production and they feel it would be better rated as residential, they should act now to commence that process and perhaps let our rates department know that they have lodged such a request with the Valuer General as well. It would be useful to keep us in the loop. And so really not much else to say other than I look forward to next fortnight's council meeting when we'll be able to make perhaps a final decision on what will happen with the primary rate production change to that of the commercial rate, which was something that was delivered as part of our budget but now can or could be undone if we choose to. There's no guarantees. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Now to the vote. All those in favour of accepting the report? All councillors present, the motion is carried. Thank you very much. Item 19.3, the Register of Interests Policy. If I could please have somebody to move that we accept that policy. Councillor Priest. And a seconder, Councillor Britton. Councillor Priest.
Thank you, Chairman. I guess, as the report says, this is not legislated at the moment in the Local Government Act, but I see it as an extremely valuable tool to hold future councillors to a high standard in the community. It provides transparency and hopefully good faith to voters in our Launceston locality. Looking forward to hearing what others think about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Priest. Councillor Britton, anything further?
No, just that I think this is a great policy and it'll just help strengthen our ethics and integrity.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Question, Councillor Walker.
Considering that we haven't discussed this as a council, can the CEO please outline the motivation and the implications of creating this register, bearing in mind that it is not yet legislatively required and that it's that it is something that councillors have not yet discussed.
Thank you, Councillor Walker. As per page 120 of your report, you will note that on the 12th of December 2024, Council resolved to establish this public register of interest. And once a draft was developed on the 16th of October 2025 at a workshop, we took it to Council for further feedback and now we're presenting it for final adoption.
I suppose, after that feedback, there has not been any further discussion of this, but that in mind, I'm not by any means a rich person. I don't have a problem with declaring the small amounts of funds that I have at my disposal. That's not an issue at all. I am concerned about some of the ramifications that are held within here. Though talking about declaring superannuation funds or trusts that the councillor is a trustee of, personal debts that a councillor might have over $10,000. These are things that I'm yet to be convinced are crucial to this job, considering it is, we won't call it a lowly position in society, but a grassroots position in society where we, as councillors, are already quite exposed to the community on a general level compared to perhaps, federal or state politicians even. And this, in some ways, lays bare councillors even further to that public. Now, I can obviously understand why people would argue that we should know this information or that this public should be able to access a register of this information. But at the same time, some of these things are things that not even a federal Member of Parliament has to declare. So, you know, at this stage, I would be, you know, appreciative of other councillors and their feelings on the matter, and yeah, I would be quite happy that if there was further discussion of some, you know, some of those points, bearing in mind that I certainly don't have anything to hide. It's not the issue here, I don't think. I think it's to do with the vulnerability of councillors to some level. We don't have many protections as it is. We do, you know, expose ourselves on a daily level without any protection as public members of society. So, yeah, most interested to hear what other councillors think of that matter.
Thank you, Councillor Walker. Councillor Harris with a question.
I do have some questions, and as Councillor Walker said, it's an interesting place that we've got to this point without coming back since late last year. My first question would be in regard to the superannuation fund and any other funds. Would that be expected simply to name the fund, or would you also want to know the amount?
Just the fund.
Secondly, when will this policy take effect? Will it in fact be applicable from the date of this meeting, or will it in fact be commensurate with the new council that will be sworn in probably early November this year?
Thank you, through the chair. It would be effective from the decision of council.
Right, so therefore the existing councils will be required to. My third question is in regard to election campaign donations. Under the Local Government Act, there are certain things that each candidate needs to put forward as part of his campaign, his or her campaign, but there are some things that may well be campaign related that are not required to be put forward, or may in fact be gifts given by friends or otherwise without any cost and without the ability to actually cost them in. How is that expected to be included in such a campaign donation register?
Look, in terms of gifts or other items which cannot be costed, I think it would be reasonable to exclude those. Councillor Harris, there is a comment in here. I'm just trying to find it. 2.4.1, a councillor is required only to disclose information that is known to the councillor or ascertainable by the councillor by the exercise of reasonable diligence. So if it's impossible to put a cost on something, to me, you could be excused from putting it in.
I'll just use a practical example, if you may. I can pay to have a poster or a pamphlet delivered to a letterbox. It might cost me 10 cents per letterbox. I might also have some friends who would say, I would love to do that in your campaign. Do I include them in that? And are they shown as making a campaign donation at 10 cents per brochure they drop off? Or does it simply say that didn't cost me anything, therefore there's nothing?
I would suggest that that is in-kind support and you are not paying, you're not being paid anything by them. So you could certainly treat that as in-kind support if you were able to quantify the amount. If not, I wouldn't add to the register.
And similarly, if people offer me a fence or otherwise, a sign on.
Any other speakers? Councillor Pentridge. Question.
Here it says recommendations that council. It goes on and says adopt the register. So who wrote this? Councillors or staff? Who was it suggested by that the councillors need to put in the register? And will that register apply to all council employees or just those of us that turn up here on a Thursday? Can someone answer that?
Yes, I can answer that, Councillor Pentridge. It will only apply to councillors if approved today by the councillors. And this has come about from the 12th of December 2024 meeting where councillors indicated that they wanted to proceed with this.
CEO.
Is there a...
Sorry, Councillor Pentridge, through the chair, and further addition to that answer, the state government, through their local government reform bill, and there was a paper prepared by the current local government minister and endorsed by the Office of Local Government that suggested that councils actually enhance this change with the proposal for legislative change to force councils to do this.
So what we're going to do is just jump the gun a bit and get it done beforehand before we're actually forced to do it. Because it hasn't actually been passed by Parliament, has it? No. But we want to lead the way again by making our councillors report all their assets. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pentridge. Any further comments around the table? Councillor Priest, to close.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with Councillor Walker. We are vulnerable, and it is stated over and over again in the local media, the Australian Local Government Association conversations held recently at that event in Canberra that other councillors attended, that we are indeed extremely vulnerable as councillors. There have been other changes already made in regard to the local government reforms that, you know, some had been argued against for the reduction in numbers to 9. Some of our Legislative Council representatives argued against the proposal for a lesser number. I'm thinking that after having a look at the Hobart City Council's website and they've already adopted this action, it looks to me to be very transparent. We are always, like I said, vulnerable, but I think if we truly are going to have good candidates come forward, as Minister Vincent has said to me, he did say that if you wanted to be re-elected, then you had to raise your profile. I'm hoping that by this, us as a council adopting this, it is seen as a way to raise the profile of councillors that will be putting their name forward to come and join our new council next year. So I think that's why it is important to be transparent and support this register. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Priest. Putting the vote to the table. All of those in favour? All of those against? Councillor Pentridge and Councillor Walker. The motion is carried. Thank you. Item 20.1, the Quarterly Report of Strategy and Innovation. If I could please have somebody to move that we accept the report. Councillor Harris, a seconder. Anyone? Throw your hand up. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Priest, thank you. Thank you, Councillor Harris.
Thank you very much, Chair. The third, or I think it's third, the Strategy and Innovation team, thank you. Thank you to the Executive Officer, Jane, and her team for this report. Once again, it goes to show what has been going on in all areas of council, and we do such a lot. You've got to really wonder. There are a lot of plates in the air, and I looked at things such as the digital waste vouchers, which was an interesting change. Some people didn't like it, and then they complained because they then got a paper voucher to go to the swimming centre for the family admission. So we can never please all the people all the time. But I do thank the team very much for the work that they do in this area within the council. And if anyone wants to read it, it's all there, but there really is a lot that goes on. Thank you.
Councillor Priest.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Nothing further. Do I have any other speakers? No? All those in favour? All those against? Councillor Pentridge. The motion is carried. Item 20.2, We have a speaker for this one, so we might bring the speaker up first, Logan Krushka. Sorry to keep you waiting, Logan. Been very patient.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak today, Chair. This, I think, is a very exciting project in the form of the Launceston Tramway Museum expansion. It's been a very long time coming. Plans were first submitted to the Council in 2012, of course. I think it's a very important project for the City of Launceston, not just as a location, but as an organisation. Whenever a visitor rides on Tram 29, that's a tram that was created by Launceston municipality workers, the traffic staff, of course, council employees, all elements of the historical operation are council-based, and our collection, very unusually, is focused around the City of Launceston as an organisation and its historical transport operations across the city. The proposed sort of motion itself, however, we are coming here admittedly a bit disappointed with the specific phrasing. As I said, this has been a project which has been 14 years in the works. I've been involved since late 2018, and I think every year that I've been here there have been new barriers, new former decisions which have impacted the footprint, the costing. Everything's increased in complexity, not due to decisions of our making, former council decisions typically. But we were hoping that, we would be a lot further along in terms of the process, owing to how long this has been in discussion, how many meetings, of course, we've had with council officers, councillors, and we aren't confident that the specific phrasing is very strong, that a lot of this feels like it is being deferred to a future council, that there is grounds, frankly, to kill the project in a future council. And while we're disappointed, this is a very important project. It will facilitate future developments like rail extension to Glebe Gardens. And we hope moving forward that bold decisions can be made. Thank you.
Thank you, Logan. Now, Councillor Walker, I believe you have an alternate motion to what is printed in the agenda.
Thank you, Chair.
Oh, sorry, I didn't
speaker.
see your hand. Another speaker. Yeah. Just come up to the mic. If you could just please say your name and address.
Butch McKenzie, Illawong Place, Riverside. I've been with the Tram Museum for about 12 years, since I've been in town. Now, the Tram Museum, before it became a museum, they've been around before Inverest Park was even redeveloped. When Inverest Park was redeveloped, that line down the middle through the spine was put in there specifically for the tram to run. And we've got pictures of that track being built, the station being built, all the development that's happened. The tram was the initial business in that area. Now, since 95, when they actually started rebuilding trams, and they actually started in the architecture building, and then went to the stone building, and then went to the building we're in now, which is the original tram workshops. We have put substantial amounts of money in there. We spent over $200,000 building the track. We've spent all the money building the museum itself. We actually built the museum. Now, we keep getting told that they've got to protect Inverest Park. And I don't know why they've got to protect it from us. We're a part of the council. We are your heritage. And the amount of people that have been through that museum and workshop, the amount of hours that they put in there, rebuilding those trams and making that museum work, and we keep the price down to make it affordable for local people to bring their kids on regularly. I find it disrespectful the way we've been treated over the last 12 years that this thing has been going. The main reason why we haven't had any funding, which comes up a lot in the stuff that can't go forward because we haven't got funding, is because we aren't granted the lease right out the front. If we don't get the lease, we can't get the funding. And it's the council that's stopping us from getting the funding. And I think it's disrespectful for all the people who have put the time and effort into this, and they do a very good job. You know, we need to have this going forward and actually do something for once. All right?
Thank you, Chris.
No worries.
Thank you so much. Any other speakers? Heidi? No? Excellent. Councillor Walker, we'll come back to you with your alternate motion to what is printed in the agenda.
Thank you, Chair, for coming to me. I did intend to jump in there when you sought a mover for the agenda motion. I haven't suggested a huge alteration to what's contained in the agenda, but nonetheless, it is an alternate motion and hopefully reflects somewhat the Speaker's concerns in regards to a stronger view from this council as to action that needs to be taken in order to facilitate an outcome. There will be a brighter day for trams in Launceston. We know that the people of Launceston love their trams. They love their trolley buses. People love taking their kids down for a ride on the tram down the spine of Inverest. And that Launceston recognised all this. Indeed, we even recognised the heritage of the train carriage works in general when we took that back from the state government in the late 1990s and actually started restoring a lot of that area, including the roundhouse down the end there, you know, albeit very different to what was there, but putting that line in very importantly, as was mentioned there. So the recommendation just strengthens Council's support. We note the ongoing support for the Tramway Museum from this Council and its proposed extension at the Inverest site. We note that previous mayors have gone down there and stood with these gentlemen and others, extolling the virtues of what happens there and agreeing that this should happen. That this council provides, point two, its in-principle support for the society to seek consent to lodge a development application for the proposed expansion, noting that formal landowner consent, if required, is to be considered and determined by the Chief Executive Officer. The council provides its in-principle support for the Chief Executive Officer to provide that landowner consent. Well, I know that it's not our decision, it's delegated to the CEO, but we have other examples where the CEO has given landowner consent over public land to other entities who wish to develop on council land and don't yet have plans exactly described as to how they will develop.
Point of order.
Yes, you did get a little bit ahead of us. Yeah.
Well, I'll finish by moving the motion that it supports in principle the granting of an expanded lease area and that it notes the expansion of the lease footprint will be subject to a future report being presented to Council within 6 months. Thank you.
Thank you. If I could please have a seconder. Councillor Harris.
To speak, if I may, Chair. I was halfway through. Thank you very much via you, Chair, Councillor Harris, for reminding me that the motion hadn't yet been moved, the alternate motion. That we support in principle the granting of an extended lease area and subject to the final footprint, support that the proposed development, the lease terms and all necessary approvals being determined to Council's satisfaction. And point four, note that the expansion of the lease footprint will be subject to a future report to be presented to this Council for formal consideration within 6 months. I suppose the important bit is, and the tension seems to be continually between the Museum Society who wish to have surety over that land before they go down the path of providing feasibility studies and paying lots of money for plans to be made, only to be told that it may not be possible. And the council, who want to understand how feasible it is to build on that particular site before the granting of the lease. And that impasse has to be short-circuited. It just has to happen. We've been here for too long. It's 115 years since the first tram hit, 2 weeks ago, since the first tram hit the lines in Launceston. This has been going on for 15 years. There's 10% of that time. It's absolutely ludicrous that we are still in this position. I've been on council 8 years. The whole time this has gone on. We put faith in our administration to deliver these things, and I find absolutely unfathomable that I can express time and time again that the councillors, and my experience of councillors going to visit the Tram Museum has always been supportive, and yet it cannot advance without a notice of motion coming to this table. I find that unfathomable because it's been expressed so clearly so many times. And that's why I want to put a timeline on it, and it's why I want it to be clear that this table supports the principle of granting landowner consent. It supports the principle of granting a lease. And it's time that all efforts are made to short-circuit whatever differences there may be in opinion as to how that should occur and just get it done within 6 months. I hope that I have my fellow councillors' support for that.
Thank you, Councillor Walker. So now we do have that alternate motion up on the screen there. Councillor Harris, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you, and I thank Councillor Walker for bringing the amendment to the motion, because it does strengthen it, and I do wish to apologise to the representatives of the Launceston Tramway Museum that this has taken us 14 years to get to this point. I'm sure part of the problem has been a somewhat revolving door of council officers who've always had to go back to scratch to start to understand the process. This is difficult. This is a difficult site, and in fact even building a building on it, once we have determined it, will be difficult, because one of the advantages of the site being open is that as your trolley, your tram moves through, there are no walls to hit. As soon as we build a wall, there you can see that the swept area of the trams could in fact come in contact, and they are things that you need to know so you can go forward with clarity. And I do thank Councillor Walker for bringing this forward. I have also been a long time supporter of what the Tramway Museum has done down there. It is one of Launceston's smaller attractions, but it is one of the few historic attractions that you can actually ride on. And that is unique, and it's something that I think you should build on over time. Now, whether it's always going to be on that site or whether you can in fact extend the line or move elsewhere, I don't know, but let's at least resolve this so you know where you're going, because then you can make plans for the future. So I'm happy to support the amended motion today.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Councillor Britton.
Thank you very much. Thank you, gents, for coming in to speak. Thank you, Councillor Walker, for the amended motion. And ultimately, there's been probably enough said on the whole scenario, but really, I know this probably isn't exactly what you were looking for today or to come out of council, but as we've heard numerous times, it's been going on for 14 or 15 years. In my opinion, it would appear you, through this motion, are further down the line than you've ever been before. Not to speak ill of anyone who has come before, but there seems to have been a lot of talking and not a lot of action, and this to me is action. Hopefully we do receive the report within the next 6 months, and with everything here in principle support across the board here, I wish you all the best with the new council, and truly hope that this does. I was going to give myself a shameless plug there, but I won't. But truly hope it does get up at that time. So best of luck with it. I know it's not exactly what you're looking for, but but I do personally think it's a step in the right direction.
Thank you, Councillor Britton. Any other comments around the table? Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Chair. Butch, thank you very much. Thank you, Logan. I'm not going to try and explain it because you explained it beautifully, both of you. I do stand to support Councillor Walker wholeheartedly with this. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the patience. Thank you for the volunteer hours that you've put into this over the years. It hasn't gone unnoticed. I'm fully supportive of it, and I really look forward to the report that comes back to us, and I hope that you walk away from here today better than when you walked in, because we really do want to back you, and looking forward to that report. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Palmer. Councillor Priest.
Thank you, Chair. Last time I was in council, one of the first people that reached out to me was Butch. Thank you, inviting me down to have a look at the Tram Museum. We had, very interestingly, a speaker this morning, or a question from the public in question time, asking us as a council, could we please make sure that our decisions embrace the Launceston heritage? So it was great to hear Rosalind post that question today. I thank you, Tim, for bringing this extra few lines into the new motion, and it has come up in nearly every workshop as a question that I have attended, both last time I was on council and this time. And like I said to you earlier, Logan, I apologise I didn't have a chance to get back to you yesterday. I've come down my last term in council and helped at a barbecue to raise funds for the Tramway Museum. So I'm really looking forward to this, moving forward with this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Priest. Anybody else? Councillor Pentridge.
For the sake of the record, and I hope we do have minutes, right, as everyone here, the issue has never been with councillors. My understanding is we've always supported this. And to keep this orderly, I'd like to take note that the author has been Sharon Imlach, and it was approved by Jane Lewis. Let's see in 6 months' time what's been done. Because this has come to a standstill for like the last 20 years. Why? And as everyone's indicated here, the councillors have never been the obstacle. So let's see where we are in 6 months' time. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Walker.
If I may close, thank you very much, Chair. I note with interest some of the easements that are marked on there, and let's just put that into perspective a little. I mean, before the substation, the power substation, was moved to that site on the request of the university to get it out of their space. These people were asking for that land, and they were told, no, if you just be patient and you accept this, the lease will come later. But then I look on the map here and I discover that there's an easement now cutting them off from the main spine, and it actually precludes them from accessing the main spine where the railway is in terms of the lines on the map, in terms of that easement. So I'll be interested to see how that's resolved. Now, I'm not saying that's the fault of anyone here today. You can tell I'm obviously a little worked up about this, but the point being, they've been asking this for longer than those problems existed, and it hasn't been resolved, and yet they've been told to be patient, it will happen, and it hasn't happened. That's the frustrating thing here. When people do the right thing and say, okay, well, wait, we feel we've been heard, it's going to happen, and it doesn't happen. And none of the people here today were probably working for council at that time, and I accept that, but this is the legacy. We were capable, Launceston Council, of building these trams 115 years ago. We were capable of building the network all over Launceston 115 years ago. Now we're not even capable of helping a community organisation that's preserving our heritage, our built heritage. We're not capable of helping them to continue that. So I'll get off my high horse. I'll let the councillors vote. I've had my say, but it builds up over time. This is the frustrating thing. You're asking, you're requesting action be taken, that we find a way forward. We can do it for other things. Why are we not capable of doing it here? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Walker. We shall put it to the table. All those in favour? All councillors present, the motion is carried. Thank you very much. We are just going to take a short 10-minute break. So I'll see you all back here in 10 minutes. Thank you. Okay, team. We shall move on to item 20.3, lease at the Lilydale Pony Club, Karula Hall and Recreation Ground. If I could please have a mover, Councillor Harris, seconder, Councillor Palmer. Councillor Harris to speak.
Thank you, Chair. If I might just briefly ask whoever the officer might have been to what this is. We looked at this the other meeting. When I first looked at it, I thought, surely we've already done this. So when you read it, it says we went and had negotiations with them. How did that go from your point of view? Because it looks to me to be a pretty straightforward lease, and I just wondered if there's any feedback from the club.
Councillor Harris, yeah, the negotiations were fairly smooth. It was already, discussions already had, and it is as recorded in the minutes, in the report.
All right, so we're just moving to lease what we thought. As I said, I thought we probably a process even while we're back here again. Something that we had tried to do, we intended to do, but we had to start the process to get that to happen. So they'll rent the ground for $356 a year for a period of 5 years, which is our lowest level of community leasing that we have. That's it, really. Thank you.
Councillor Palmer, nothing to add? Nothing, any other speakers around the table? No, we shall put it to the vote. All those in favour? Everyone present? Motion is carried. Item 20.4, lease, Invermay Bowls Club. If I could please have a mover, Councillor Britton, and a seconder, Councillor Priest. Councillor Britton.
Thank you. I believe this is just another lease that comes across as very happy.
Thank you very much. Councillor Priest.
Yes, thank you. And it was a great read with this item, just to look at what they actually do at this bowls club. It's prolific. The users are prolific, and it's great to see. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers around the table? Put it to the vote. All those in favour? All councillors present. The motion is carried. Item 20.6, City of Launceston Incoming Grant Management Policy. If I could please have somebody to move. Oh, did we? Oh, sorry, we did too. I'm just rushing through now. Item 20.5, City of Launceston Annual Plan 2025-2026, Quarter 4 Progress Report. Mover, Councillor Harris. Seconder, Councillor Palmer.
Thank you. For those listening, this is the annual plan that Council has and the Quarter 4 report. Interestingly, there were 20 items completed out of the 34. A number of items were cancelled, 4 in fact, 3 due to a change in organisational priorities, and 1 was cancelled due to the non-successful funding. It is always good to keep an update on how things are going with our annual plan. So I do thank the staff who put this report together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Councillor Palmer.
Nothing further to
Nothing
add.
to add. Councillor Britton, you have a question?
Thank you. I did. Obviously, the QV mag stuff has been removed, cancelled. Can't remember the actual wording, but noting that there is a little bit of public discussions, and I've asked before about what we're going to do with funding, etc., etc. Is that going to come back? Is that going to be in a different form, or what's sort of the plan with all of that now, or are we just essentially leaving?
Thank you, through the Chair. Councillor Britton, certainly there will be some changes to plans at QVMag, and with our director that's been appointed there and has been there for a few months, there will be a change in direction to simplify the QVMag business. We're also meeting with the relevant state government minister in the coming few weeks as well to talk through QVMag and the contribution the state make and the contribution we make to the state equally, and how we can perhaps modify the business and the operating model.
Any further comments or questions around the table? No? Nothing further, Councillor Harris. We'll put it to the table. All those in favour? Councillor Walker, you abstaining? Councillor Walker abstaining. All other councillors? Oh, sorry, I thought you had your hand up. Oh. Councillor Pentridge against. The motion is carried. Okay, item 20.6, City of Launceston Incoming Grant Management Policy. I could have a mover, please. Councillor Harris, and a seconder. Councillor Palmer. Councillor Harris.
Okay, once again, policy decisions on how we handle incoming grants and the various levels of responsibility associated with those as to who can approve them. It's interesting that we didn't have a policy in this place before, but we now do. So I do thank the team that has worked to bring this policy up. It is important that we actually understand when we do apply for grants, or when staff do, that we actually have a process to make sure that we handle them in the way they should be. It worries me that we never had it, but I don't know whether we ever got caught out as a result of that not having a policy. Perhaps staff just did what they thought was the right thing, or people worked it through. Nevertheless, always good to have a good policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. Councillor Palmer. No further comments. Any other comments around the table? No, we shall put it to the vote. All of those in favour? And all those against? Councillor Pentridge. Motion is carried. Item 20.7, Efficiency Dividends Report, Quarter 4. I could please have a mover, Councillor Britton. Seconder, Councillor Harris. Councillor Britton.
Thanks very much, and really just a congratulations to all staff involved in this one. We had a target of 800,000. We actually found $1.4 million in efficiency dividends, and as usual, we spent about 346,000 more than we thought, but we're still coming out 285,000 in front. So yeah, well done to everyone who had their part to play in that.
Thank you, Councillor Britton. Councillor Harris, nothing further. Any other speakers? No? Okay, we'll put it to the table. All those in favour? All councillors present. The motion is carried. Item 21.1, Quarterly Report, Office of the Chief Executive Officer. Mover, Councillor Harris. Seconder, Councillor Palmer. Councillor Harris.
Look, this is a thank you for the staff who put this report together. You could almost say that it was a diary update of what the CEO has been up to since the 1st of April and the meetings that he's had. But I'm sure there is much more that he's done, although it's interesting it actually also goes past the end of June and continues into July. There are a number of things that are worthy of further discussion, but I won't go into them. But probably the one that I think is one of the CEO's pet projects, the NTDC collaboration and the regional shared services, as an initiative being driven from the CEO's office. I think that is the potential for a council to increase its savings by getting greater buying power, but also to then offer those services to the other councils to help lower their costs as well, is good for the whole region, not just for us as a council. I do thank the CEO for that.
Thank you. Councillor Palmer. Anyone else around the table? No? Shall I put it to the vote? All of those in favour? All councillors present. Motion is carried. Item 21.2, correspondence from Minister Ellis around the CBD bus interchange security trial, moved by Councillor Walker, seconded Councillor Harris. Councillor Walker.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you for the Council carrying out the request that I put as part of a notice of motion to get security put on the bus stops in St John Street back a few months ago, and as part of that request asked that the Council do write to the Minister responsible for that support. Council know that this is not core business for Launceston Council, but we also know that we have an antisocial problem in our city, much like many other parts of the country. This can't be a solution in itself. It can only be a band-aid measure, and we do have to contribute where we can and recognise that either businesses or indeed members of the public do not feel safe in our own city. That is an alarming concern. What's perhaps also alarming is the reply that we got from the State Government Minister, thanking us, I suppose, for for writing to him and acknowledging the excellent work we've completed to date, but essentially not offering anything more than the status quo, which is, of course, that our hard-working police force do what they can in an environment that is increasingly difficult for them to operate in, increasingly difficult for town traders to feel safe and secure with their business, and increasingly difficult for members of the public to feel safe and secure going to our CBD. Now, we aren't responsible for anything more here than the bus stops themselves and their location. And that's something that has also been a discussion around this table. But we are being asked more and more to augment functions that we would normally think are outside council's remit, and this is one of those. And while I'm not surprised by the minister's response, I don't see a plan forthcoming from the state government in how they are going to, in the long term, address antisocial behaviour and contribute meaningfully to safer communities in Tasmania. I'm at a loss to understand what the plan is in order to address that, because it just seems as though somehow the status quo will solve the problem, and it's just not. So we'll make every effort we can to improve the facilities that we manage and to contribute towards the safety of people in Launceston. But I would ask the state government publicly, what is it that you're offering? What are you going to improve? How are you going to change the status quo? Because at the moment, nothing has changed other than us providing security, and we know that it costs in 3 months $80,000, and those costs will continue to go on the longer we do this, with no end in sight. And I'm sure we've got far better uses of that money, but unfortunately at the moment we have no choice but to support this program, and we are not being given any silver light or silver lining on the dark cloud that is that antisocial and unsafe behaviour that needs to be dealt with. It needs to be recognised, and the state government's responsibility is to deal with that. And I will continue to ask that they respond in a more meaningful way than merely acknowledging the current status quo and believing that that is enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Walker. Councillor Harris, nothing further? Any other comments around the table? Councillor Pentridge.
I'm lost for why any of us here think anything's going to change when we're continuing to bleed our community and do jobs that are not really ours. I mean, unfortunately, while we step in, which I haven't got a problem with that, someone's got it, but while we step in, no one else is going to. And what I wish I could convince my colleagues of, we've got to get more leverage against our state government. We have that ability. There was a time when we did that. Right now, we just get what we're given. We keep asking, we're like beggars. We keep asking for grants. And really, I don't believe it's this council's responsibility to provide security in this city. Unfortunately, while we're doing it, no one else is going to do it. I wish someone would take note. And somewhere along the line, we've got to get this message across. I mean, yes, everyone's got problems, but these aren't our problems. And it's the police force. They are the ones that do this job, and they've got to be directed to do so. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Councillor Pentridge. So, any other comments? Sorry. Right, I'm just going to pass to the CEO just quickly in regards to one of the questions we received today.
Thank you, Chair. Just as a correction for the public record, and I have emailed councillors already for this, there was a question by Mr Smith earlier in public question time which related to the correspondence with Minister Ellis. And I did advise that we did provide statistics and information with the correspondence. That is not true. We did not. I thought we did. I've sought clarification from the staff on what actually did go and did not go, and we did not provide the internal security report. So we do have data, but we did not share it with Minister Ellis at this time.
Thank you. So shall we put it to the vote to accept the... Oh, sorry, I did forget about you.
I don't have many rights around here, but one of them is to close when I move a motion. And I will close by saying, through you, Chair, if I may, I agree with Councillor Pentridge that when you look around and you see that nobody else is doing it, you do it yourself. And that's what we're doing. We're standing up for Launceston and we're doing it ourselves. We're providing that protection and that security ourselves. And I'm thankful that the council and my fellow councillors have agreed to do that. And I accept that this is going to be ongoing, but we have to stand up for Launceston, and that's what this is about. It's about working together and everyone in our city standing together on these issues and demanding a better response. It's not going to change otherwise. No one's going to take any notice of us. It lends itself to other issues that Launceston's facing at the moment. And I truly believe that we are at the crossroads as a city where we're losing investment and industry. We are staring down the barrel of a receding economy as a result. Now, that may or may not happen, but in the meantime, if we don't stand up for Launceston and our fair share of resources, whether it be police or education or health, then we can't expect that we're going to get it. This is the proof. This is the proof. When a minister writes back and says, thank you very much, but no thank you, we need to demand it. We need to stand together and demand it. And that's what I'll be advocating. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Walker. So I'll put it to the table that we accept the correspondence. Those in favour? Well, it makes no difference really, does it, to accept it? Councillor Palmer? Although all councillors present, motion carried. Yeah. Okay, so item 22, late items. We have none of those today. So item 23, closed council. If somebody could please move, Councillor Harris and seconder Councillor Palmer, that we move into closed council. You're both very quick off the mark. Thank you. All those in favour? All councillors present. back into closed session. If somebody could please confirm that what is up on the screen. Thank you, Councillor Palmer. Seconded by Councillor Britton. Is a true and correct reflection of what was discussed in closed council. All those in favour? All councillors present. Motion is carried. Meeting is closed at 4:32. Thank you, everybody. Oh yes, see you at the next meeting on September the 3rd.